What's going on here? Oh my fucking days. Right, let's see if I am working. Let's see if I am working. Does that work? Does this work? Does that work? That's supposed to be fucking working. Why is that not on? Why is that not on? That bastard thing. Oh well. I'll just turn you on then, hang on. Let's just turn you on. I've fucked up with music. I don't know what's going on. I've had trouble with... let me put my camera on. Audio's good here. It says, yeah, audio's... I just couldn't get the thing to work. I just don't know what's fucking gone off with the bastard. With the fucking thing this evening. Well, it's... Anyway... Something's happened. Good evening, welcome to Raconteurs News. We're just waiting for, I don't know, I mean, such it is. It's been such a long time since I've done any of these shows or done anything like anything at all. And so I'm a bit, I weren't very good anyway, so I'm not, I'm in a bit of a tiz at the moment, but I'm waiting for Owen Lloyd Martin's going to be joining me on the show tonight. I'm going to unplug my microphone from here because I think that might have been interfering with his microphone, and that might be the reason that he couldn't get through. Let me just check on here that, you see, this is supposed to, I don't know what's the matter. I don't know what's happened. I'll tell you what's happened is, something's happened with my blah blah blah, my audio settings, because it says my speakers open volume mixer. Let's have a look. Speakers are not working. Why are my speakers not working? I don't understand that. That's a little bit weird. That's you can hear me, but I can't hear you. That's to Owen. So if you're watching, let me see what I can do about this. I can't work out what I can do. There must be something that I can do. Unplug this, and no, it's I can't work it out. Why is it gone all funny? Why has this gone all funny? I cannot work it out. That can you hear me now? Is it able? Are you able to hear me? Settings, camera, internal microphone. You can hear me, right? So it's on the internal microphone. So right, I've just got no sound. If anybody knows what's gone on, if anybody knows what's going on here, then please let me know, because I've just got no sound. Why have I got no sound? Let me see what happens if I try and play something sound-wise. Let's just let's see if I play Lee Garrett. See if what happens there. I don't know. Right, so there you go. I can hear Lee Garrett. I just cannot hear on here, I don't think. So that's really weird. So if you try again, I've unplugged everything. I've just got the internal mic. If you want to, having issues. Here we go. See what that says. Good evening anyway. Welcome to Raconteurs News. It's been all right. It's been about a month since I've been away. I've been in hospital. I had an operation which ended up being 2 operations because the first one didn't work. No, I didn't get a nosebleed. I wonder if I have to turn this off and turn it back on again, whether that'll work. I don't know. Right, let's see if we can hear. Let's see if we can hear now. Can we hear you now, Owen?
I don't know. I bet it was live.
I can hear you.
Hey!
Yay, man! Bingo, I can hear you. Thank you very much for joining me tonight.
No problem, mate. No problem at all.
Feedback. Have you got some headphones on, something you plug in, or I don't know, a separate mic or something? It's just I'm just getting a little bit of feedback.
I can't. Put some headphones in.
I'll say hello to everyone who's in the chat room. Anyway, let's say hello to Same Man's in there, Super Leads, good. evening to you. Apple Charlotte's in there. Dot as well. I think that's Tony. Uni Black Sister. He's in there. Apple Charlotte. Spirit of Longthorn. He's that person is in there. You can't genderize these days. You can't say he or she, can you, even based on name? He or she, can you, even based on name? Yeah, that's what I said just a minute ago. I think it's running now. Are you still there, Owen? No, it appears he's not. He's plugged something in and he's disappeared. It's going well anyway. I know we're a great bunch of amateurs. Here we go. Can I hear you now? I can't hear you, mate. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You might as well unplug them because I can't hear a word you're saying. Not a single thing. And I'm not very good at lip reading.
No. No.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. Right. I don't know what it is with the bloody headphones. I'm going to go and change phone, Jason. So I'll come back with you in a short while.
Okay. All right. Well. Everyone know what I've been doing.
No worries. My apologies to everybody.
That's Owen Lloyd Martin will be back in just a couple of minutes when he's got his a different device. We're getting a bit of feedback. It's just getting into us a little bit. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, like I said, I had an operation, as you know, and thank you for the compliments on my top. It's not actually a top. It's a moo-moo. I'm going to show you my moo-moo. This is what I've been wearing and I'll show you why I'm wearing this in a minute. But this is what it is. It's basically a big long dress thing, a caftan thing. You can see I've got my underpants on under there and everything. But I'm wearing this because it's dead comfortable. And you know when you're poorly, and you've got I've got this thing hanging off me, this pipe thing. I don't know if you can see that there, but anyway, this pipe that comes off my leg and goes into this device that's behind me here that catches all sorts of gunge and sputum and all sorts of stuff from that's being discharged from my leg. So that's why I'm wearing it. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to wear proper clothes anymore. I don't think I'm ever going to wear trousers again. These are just the best things. They're just so comfortable, and you can let everything just dangle down. It just all dangles down in one glorified motion. That's it. He's ancient, and he likes to justify the room of the land. All bound for Moo land. That's what I've got on. Thanks for that, Apple Charlotte. So I had an operation on the Thursday. It didn't apparently became apparent by Friday that it had not worked. By Friday tea time, I found out that they were going to operate on me again when they said that I was going to be nil by mouth that night. So I thought, well, there must be some reason for that. Anyway, I had a 6-hour operation on Thursday. Then I had a 5-hour operation on Saturday. Again, it looks like this one hasn't worked either. I didn't know that until after they discharged me, like over a week ago. A week later, after they discharged me, they decided to. Oh, it was a few days, weren't it? It was a few days after they discharged me that they decided I had to go back for some dressings to be changed because I've had some right pus and shit falling out of this. This scar goes from middle of my calf right to me, nearly to my ideole, my belly button. So it's quite a big one. But I didn't know that it had not worked. Until I went back and they just said, we don't think it's worked. So what happens next? I don't know. I'm going to see him on Monday, which is the 23rd, I've got some fucking great story to tell you about in hospital and all, man. You won't believe the shit that goes on, man. It is just incredible. I've got some stuff to show you as well. I wonder if I can share screen on this. Because when I share screen, I want to show you some pictures. Let me just see if I can. Let me get these pictures. I want to show you a couple of pictures. I just want to show you some of the things. These, let's have a look at that one. That's a picture of. I'll just put this on. I'll just pop this on screen share. I'll just pop this on screen share when I find the fucking right place to do it. Just put it on screen share. There we go. I'll put it on screen share. Screen share. Share screen. Allow. Stream mode. Entire screen. Right. Okay. So I'll pop allow on there. Then you should see. There you go. That's the picture of my leg. That was the day that I was being released. It goes right up here, right to the top of my leg, past me crack near my knackers, and then it goes sort of drifts off to the right because that's from the second one, and then goes up to nearly level with my belly button. So that's one of the pictures that I wanted to show you. Also, there was also this one. This is great. These are the people, okay, who are looking after us. So if you know anything about warfarin and INRs and things like that, my INR had to be at a certain level. So my blood's normally 2.5 times thinner than a normal person. So I have to then have it thickened up. In order for, it's called bridging. I have to have it thickened up in order for them not to bleed out when they do the operation. So it has to be at least like 1.5. So I have to have these injections every day. And so then once you've had the operation, they try and get you back on the warfarin. So it's called bridging. So this is from my notes, and my missus noticed it first time. This is from my notes, and where they're getting the warfarin. There we go. Have a look at that. Those are what they're going to. My warfarin is what they're going to. The dosage that they're going to get me up to. The baseline INR is great. They want to get it up to 2, really. Ideally, they want to get it up to 2 before they're happy. So on the 28th, this must have started on the 29th. It was 1.1. On the 30th, it was 1.1. On the 31st, it was 1.2, and on the 32nd, it was 1.4. Which I can't remember that day, so it must be a day that's that only they know. I mean, here we go. This is the 32nd of the 8th, 19. These are the people that are looking after us. These are the people that are making sure that we're still alive and we're okay. And it's look. I've got no objection with any of the staff. All the staff were great. I don't know who wrote this. It must have been one at night staff, and the night staff usually don't speak very good English, and perhaps don't. I really don't know. But to do the 32nd of August is ridiculous. I mean, there's not even this. If it had been the 31st of April, which again would have been a mistake, but it would have been a mistake that you perhaps could make an excuse up for. But that particular one, I mean, that's just completely ridiculous. But these who've been trying to keep me alive. So there we go. I'll remove myself from the screen and I'll add Owen back in and see if he is okay. Are you there, Owen?
How is it, Jason? Is there any echo? Is there anything? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can't hear me.
I can hear you, yes.
There you go. All good. It's all good. Sorry about the camera quality, but I thought I'd try a different medium, let's say. How are you getting on, Jason?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, man, I've just seen the photograph. Wow.
That is incredible, isn't it?
Isn't it? Jeez. And how are you feeling? You good?
Yeah, I'm okay. I feel okay today. I've been in a lot of pain, and I've been managing this pain, not too badly. But sort of this time of night, I've been pretty bad. So I were a little bit wary about whether or not I'd be okay to be on here. But yeah, it's all fine. It's all good. I'm feeling fine and dandy. having a nice little a drink and stuff, and just wearing my muumuu. What do you think to me muumuu? You must love this.
I like it actually. It looks good on you, brother.
Hey, somebody put in chat room that I'd just come back from Robert Mugabe's funeral.
You'll be one of the only ones.
So what's going on with you, mate? What is going on with you?
Well, funny enough, I've been talking to off air and what have you. I've just actually finished my final day of therapy. I've been doing rapid transformational therapy with a lovely lady called Lisa Drake. She's got her own page on Facebook. But it's been 5 days, a 5-day challenge. Just where you reassess yourself, and rein yourself in, and set your goals and targets, and cutting cords, and it's done with the world of good. The world of good.
Awesome. So because we did have a brief. It must be about a month ago now, because it was just as I'd gone into hospital. I don't even think I've been under a knife when you got in touch with me, and we had a brief interaction back then, didn't we? And said we were going to set something like this up. So what were you finding the things that were mostly getting on top of you, or not really working for you at that particular moment?
Well, I think because of obviously my situation here, and how things have ended up, that I'm now here alone. Obviously, I came here when I was married, and obviously living in a rural place in the middle of nowhere, it's very difficult to get by. And you get everyday things, even the smallest things, would kind of set me into a really big depression. And to get to the point to switch everything off, I wanted just to shut the world off and just do stuff for myself, which was probably one of the worst things I did, because as you know, if it weren't through you guys, going back nearly 2 years now, and me listening in, God knows what might have happened. So social media did a lot for me, but then I thought I need to take a break away from it.
Yeah.
And obviously, one of the things I did was start this 5-day challenge that Lisa has on her Facebook page, and I've been very, very fortunate, because Lisa arrived in the country on Thursday, if I'm mistaken, just to help me with the last few days and a bit of moral support. She goes back to the UK tomorrow, but it's been amazing, because it's been great. I've done it, the amount of times the couple of times I've been on before, it's been I suppose I could be truthful about it, is that everything's great, the sun's shining and everything else, but what I didn't look at was inside, inside of me, what did I really want, etc. And I can quite happily say I'm on the path. I've had 5 good days of some emotional stuff, really, really emotional, deep down stuff. Had some hypnotherapy, which was amazing. And I feel a better person. I feel a much better, a more positive person, and an even better outlook on life.
Right.
I think it's one of those things, is that I turned around to a few of my friends on Facebook and opened up and admitted that I was having problems with life in general. And I think that's the key for anybody. I would say that there's help out there for anybody and everybody. All you have to do is just say. I think the first road to recovery is acceptance, and realizing that there may be a problem, and that's the first step to recovery, really, is admitting there's something wrong and then dealing with it.
But the admitting something's wrong and dealing with it are, those two are pretty simple things. Well, I said dealing with it depends on how complex your problem is and what your needs are, but to put those both together, to understanding that there's this that's wrong with you, and it is wrong with you. If you don't feel right about something, then it's something wrong with you. You are at odds with yourself, aren't you? And and then dealing with it, because sometimes dealing with it takes perhaps more than you're really looking to put into it. you might be looking for a quicker solution and a quicker answer. Perhaps you just put it to one side. I know I've been guilty of it myself, putting things to one side, and I generally tend not to worry about anything. I don't. I try not to. I do deep inside, obviously. You know, there's when I'm laid there and I'm fucking in hospital bed and I'm on my own. It's middle at night and what have you. To be fair, on the first week I had my own room, so it were pretty okay. But you have them moments where you do, because I remember that on the first night after I'd had the first op, on the first night I remember looking up and and just saying thank you, because they said, oh, it's gone all right, we've got all this, it's all good and it's gone all right. Oh, and I looked up and I thought, and I said thank you, not particularly to anybody, just said it. Just thought, you know, better keep in with them if they're the ones that are calling shots. Of course, next day it's all fucked again. So the next morning, when on the Saturday morning, by the time they come down and they're telling me that they're going to do this operation, they're going to take me down and everything, I then look up and I go, you cunt. You know what I mean? Perhaps not the best thing to do when you're just about to go into surgery is look up to whoever's up there and say, you cunt. You know, but it's these sort of deals we make ourselves as well when we're in that situation. When your back's against the wall, you make yourself these deals, and most of the time, a lot of time, you don't stick to them, but you're making the deal with yourself, and it's sticking to them. That's the hardest part. I mean, saying it and doing it are two completely different things. And some people are better at doing it than saying it, and some, but because they don't say it, then nobody knows and nothing ever gets done. Or they can say it, but they can't do it. You know, it's everyone to themselves.
I mean, so it's like the way that I've looked at it. I've set myself goals and targets now. You know, and I can only be the person to blame if that goes wrong. But then again, on the other side of it, I've also looked around and thought, you know what? All the things I want to do now, I'm going to do. You know, you've only got one opportunity to do them. So if you're going to set yourself goals, set yourself some doable, achievable goals that set the process out of how you're going to achieve the goals. It's been amazing, Jason. I feel revitalized
and ready for it, and ready to. How much of an influence do you think social media plays in it? Because I'm fucking.
Big,
I really despise social media and what it's doing, especially to people's self-esteem as well.
I've kind of taken a back step. Yeah, that's it. I've kind of taken a step back. I've put a couple of funny things on over the last couple of days. I said I've kind of taken a step back of posting a lot more of my personal moments. Let's say I've decided I wanted to keep them for myself. And the odd funny thing I've posted over the last couple of days that I've just found funny. But I just found that once you get, I can't remember when I joined Facebook, but I think it was, not long after its conception. After a while, it can take over and take full control of what you're doing, And I'm not saying that I got, really, really bad. But when you look at what people post, some of the content that people are posting, and I think for me, seeing that this year, a lot more negative posts. I've never really been a negative person. So, my decision to come away from Facebook for as much as I can, I'm trying to set myself up to do, to start doing a bit of video blogging of my food, because obviously that's one thing that I like doing the best. But I don't know, social media, for me, it's had its day. I've had my bit, I've had my fun with it, everything else. But I want to do something a bit more creative, and, I think I'll find a different platform to showcase it on.
Yeah, I mean, when you say content on social media, I mean, these days, I think it's more non-tent, isn't it? Because they're just in anything.
Yeah.
There's no.
Well, that's it. I mean, you find now, I can go to, if I was to go on now, I would scroll through my opening page, and you'd see the stories there. And then I could go back maybe 24 hours later and press, top stories or most recent or whatever it is. But those same stories will still be in the same reel.
Yeah.
So that everybody's been cut, everything's cut down. Everybody's, you're not seeing half the posts that you used to do. you know, from the people that you would normally get, you know, regular posts from. It's all changed. It's all changed. I don't know. They've done something with the algorithms or something.
Yeah, they've fucked it up, haven't they, really? I mean, there's the amount of people that are the only people that aren't turning their back on Facebook. I mean, I've got Facebook mostly for this show. I think if I didn't do this show, then I'd just disappear off Facebook, because for me, it's a fucking, it's a quagmire, just utter fucking dog shit for your mind.
Yeah.
And like I say, the content, you used to get content from people, you know, and now you just get just crap, just utter nonsense. Either something that you already knew anyway, or you already knew about, you're already aware of. There's never anything new, or it's some crap like somebody's done a test to find out how much of a goldfish they are.
Yeah.
It's just
it's
a wasteland.
the Cambridge Analytical stuff. Sorry, man.
it's like for me, it's like the Dougie class. The only people that want to get out of it are the people like who post pictures of the fucking kids up there, like first day at school. Look at my kids, aren't they beautiful? Aren't they fantastic? They're all, yeah, they just look like everyone else's kids in fucking school uniform. You're stood there, you're telling everybody how proud you are that you're sending your drone off dressed the same as everyone else. And I've been guilty of it myself. I'm not being a hypocrite. I've been guilty of it myself. And you know, and me drones going off to become a slave, and then another then fucking a few years later, and you even get memories now on Facebook, and it's fucking repeats. That's all that is. It's just repeats.
Yeah.
So not only do they repeat TV, they repeat social media. I don't care. I mean, I've seen some of the memories that pop up that I've posted back from when I think I were on it first in 2009 when I met my wife, and she. Right. I remember the first thing I ever got on Facebook where she got in touch with me and said, "I've popped your Facebook cherry," because she'd sent me a message or something daft like that, or
right.
But you know, it were back then, like it were a gimmick, weren't it? Now it's more of an addiction than a gimmick. It's like any addiction, like any. If you're addicted to heroin, at first you get a lot out of it, and you get a lot of fucking stuff out of it, and then suddenly it's got a grip on you, and it's not giving you that feeling that you had before. All it's doing is just getting rid of the shit feelings that you feel when you don't have it. But you know, it's still there, and people have still got to do it. It's a joke. I mean, people have just gone completely and utterly nuts. And my wife just walked up. I think I've just been talking too much. Oh, are you still there, Owen? No, it looks like he's gone. Is anybody else there? Are we all right? Are we live still or not? Well, I seem to be live anyway. Owen, if you are can hear me or anything like that, then you know, please come back and continue talking with me. And my wife's walked out, so I'm a little bit on my own. But while he's not here, we'll wait for Owen to see if he can get himself back on. There you go. He's disappeared. We'll see if we can get him back on. But I'm going to just share this with you. Adi sent me. Adi's. I said, did I send Adi a link? I spoke to him earlier on. He's in Thailand on his holiday, and I spoke to him earlier on, and I did send him a link, and he said that if he weren't too drunk and if he was still awake, or he weren't up to his nuts and guts in some ladyboy, then he'd join us. But I've sent him the link, but he's not joined us. But he did send me a really interesting a photo from a newspaper that he got in Thailand. Now I'm going to screen share again. I'm going to show you this, because this, as far as I think it, this is quite incredible. And for all the people that say, when they talk about weather modification, that it's a conspiracy theory and it's not real, just take a quick look at this. Let me just share the screen. Let me pop that down there. What does that say? Sorry, what did that say? Entire screen. Allow. Okay, so that's the. Oh, that's by the way, that's me in the bed in hospital when the bloke in the next bed decided to have a shit in the middle of the night and then have another shit straight afterwards, all in his all in, in his sheets and stuff. So he didn't bother getting out or doing out, and he just kept getting nurses to, and that's literally what I had to do to cover myself up. But anyway, there you go. That's me in hospital. But this is what Adi sent me, and just check this out. Look at this. Royal Rainmakers called for top up. And if I just zoom in just a little bit on this, you might be able to read it a tiny bit. How the fuck do you do that? There we go. Here we go. Have a look at this. Check this out, look. The Department of Royal Rainmaking and Agricultural Aviation has approved a 2-month-long rainmaking effort to replenish Phuket's main reservoirs ahead of the coming high and dry season. I mean, I don't know whether, what does that, this is from a Thai newspaper that Adi's had, that he sent me yesterday. Rainmaking program itself officially started the day before. September 5th is planned to continue until November 15th. Cloud seeding will be conducted by the Southern Royal Rainmaking Operations Centre based in Surat Thani. The centre will use a CN-235 turboprop transport airplane to seed clouds and induce rain over Phuket's main reservoirs, Bang Niao Dum in Krisunthorn and Bang Wad in Kathu. So there you go. Anybody who tells you that the cloud seeding geoengineering is a mere conspiracy theory, then just point them to that. That's something that Adi's sent me today. Oh, bloody hell. He's still not back. Owen, where are you, my old mate? He seems to have buggered off. So, what? Oh, here we go. Let's go down here. Jesus Christ. Good evening to. I'm just waiting for Owen to see if we can get him back. Let's just Regina. I am. Oh, I can. He drinks his like tea. Oh, let me put that link. There you go. I love that. I love how we can do that. Super Leeds, he drinks his like tea. I don't know what he's talking about. Something that's obviously liquid. He's frozen, Jace. Yes, I think I've got that. Owen, here we go. Owen has put a thing. Phone overheated. Sorry, guys. Oh, we'll get you sent back on it. Try something else. Anything that you want. Let's get you back here. I see wifey. Oh yeah, my wifey. Yeah, she was just back there. She's just been upstairs. So anyway, welcome. You're listening to Raconteurs News. I did have Owen Lloyd Martin with me, but he's temporarily. I'm hoping it's temporarily. Anyway, he's temporarily. Yes, he's indisposed. He's as we speak. He's probably trying to get his device to work and get it all cooled down and everything, but hopefully we'll have him back soon. So what I don't know what has been going on. I really don't. I've really been taking no notice while I've been in hospital. I really haven't been taking much notice at all. I obviously know that we've now got Boris Johnson as Prime Minister, and I do remember it takes me back to a show that I did with Andy. Back in the day, and we had a guy on who called himself the Sirius Report, and he used to come on and do all financial stuff and everything, and had quite a big following, but then started wanting money from people to tell them all this stuff that, but it was 2015. It must have been 2015 because Trump had not been elected, and I don't think the election had even been. I think it was January 2015, just not long after we started. And I do remember, me saying, and anybody who used to listen to us back then. I know Super Leeds has listened to. has listened to every show, so he might be able to remember this. But I remember saying to him, so we might end up in a situation. Can you imagine this? We might end up in a situation where we've got Donald Trump as the president of the United States, and we've got Boris Johnson as Prime Minister of Britain. And he said, yes, as absurd as that sounds, that might be that might be the case. And here we are. We're in 2019, and well, we've gone past the 32nd of August, 2019, certainly. So we're in 2019, and these days we've got a situation where I don't even know what I'm talking about, where we've got Boris Johnson and we've got Donald Trump. And, you know, cannot people see that this is just a charade that's in his way? I mean, they say, right, there's going to be a no deal Brexit. Then they say, no, there's a law that comes in. This is what I've really only ever skimmed anything. That there's now a law that says that a no deal Brexit would be illegal. I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. It's got to the point where it's completely ridiculous. And we've got, again, I go back to me. I was talking to one of the nurses in the hospital, and we were talking about this show. Actually, I did this show that I do when she did say she'd subscribe, and when I went back a couple of days ago, she did say she had subscribed. And there was also a guy in the operating theatre, who subscribed as he was sorting me out to put me on the table to go in to be operated on, and he subscribed then because he asked me what it were. So we've got. I was talking to her, and she's saying we've got nurses that are having to go to food banks. We've got people that are earning, that are in jobs, that are in good jobs, that are having to go to food banks, right? And we're supposed to. This is for me. This is the whole problem with the problem with the whole thing is we've got such a situation where people. I know because I'm in it. We had people coming around about adaptations to house because I may very well lose this other leg, and they came last year, and they came last year and then just ditched us and just disappeared and not got done. So I've got my own. I know that the people are just fucking just being shit on in any way, shape, or form. They can be shit on, but we've got a situation where we've got nurses that are having to go to food banks, and yet we've got one of the stories last week was how a 60-year-old man had been arrested for stealing a £5 million bog from Blenheim Palace, an 18-carat bog. It's like they're saying you're having to go to food banks and we shit on gold. That's exactly, you know, and there's nobody down here with pitchforks. I've been there, fucking. Honestly, I wish I'd got fucking legs still. Man, I probably still won't fucking do it because, you know, nobody ever does. I think Owen's back. Evening, Owen. Are you back, mate?
Hello.
He's in Australia.
What?
You're in Australia. You're upside down, pal.
I'm the right way around on the screen looking at you. Hang on. Let me turn mine.
So there you go.
Oh dear.
There we go. Owen, how you doing, mate? I did some bit of class filling in there while you were gone.
Sorry about that. I've pressed on the volume button now. I need to take the volume up so I can hear you.
Okay. Alrighty then.
I have good old Lisa to thank. Lisa that's been doing therapy. It's come over to see me. She's kindly given me her tablet, her iPad, so I can join you.
All right, is she there? Does she want to join in with us?
No.
No. Far too far. No. I'm far too afraid to be talking to a man in a dress.
I've just passed the lighter from her. Thank you, Lisa. Oh dear. Sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah, the phone died. The other phone that I used, it overheated. So I was flapping. I was going to use the laptop again, but I remembered we had no sound with that. So Lisa kindly allowed me to use her iPad. So we're back.
Awesome. Well, I was just bringing up. I don't know if you've read this story, but about the bloke that were arrested for nicking a £5 million bog from Blenheim Palace.
Excuse me.
A guy who were arrested for nicking a £5 million 18-carat gold bog from Blenheim Palace. They've got bogs made out of gold, mate.
What the hell? What the? I just don't. The world's going mad.
It's gone mad, isn't it? It's almost as if they're saying, "Oh, you're poor. We shit on gold, man. We shit on gold."
Yeah. What was the other thing you were saying about? I'm the same as you, Jason. I haven't a clue what's going on in the UK. I know that puppet number 2's in power, but I think I heard something that the US have gone to war. Is that right? Something crazy going into Iraq or Iran or something crazy. I don't know.
I know they keep ramping up with Iran, don't they? They've been doing that for years, but I don't think it'll ever amount to. To be fair, I think it's just a fucking pantomime. They just stand there and play these. Look at us, we're going to torch everybody and kill everybody, and this is what's going to happen. It's going to be Armageddon. So you best do what we say, and then they don't. How many times have we been on point of war with somebody and it's not happened? When they've got some balls about them, like Iranians have, you're not going to fuck about around here, are you? Well, what are they going to do? Fucking. I've got a £5 million bog. I can't get over that, mate. I can't get over it. It's an 18-carat gold, £5 million bog. It's a bog. Now it gets me wondering. Then, like, has he got one of them fucking things that goes over, toilet roll? One of them dolls with dresses on.
Yeah.
But with a fucking designer dress on it, wouldn't it? It'd be like fucking Alexander McQueen dress on one of them bog things. But what sort of bog brush do you have for a solid gold bog? I mean, you don't want to. There's so many more questions than answers in that, and yet nobody's going. Right, hang on a minute. There's food banks and there's people, disabled people are being fucking being put into more poverty by having the benefits reduced and all this sort of shit. But it's all right though. But nobody's going. Hang on a minute. We've got a fucking bog here that's made out of gold. Is nobody going to say this fucking bog's probably worth more than a house? Well, it's Blenheim Palace, isn't it? They probably have more than one.
Batting an eyelid at it because there's too many distractions on TV, isn't there? It's not a sensationalized story enough for everybody to be concerned, is it? According to Mr. Murdoch.
I mean, it is quite sensational, though, isn't it? I don't know whether the story. I mean, what did the bloke do? Did he go in and rag it up and nick it, put it under his coat, or
that's it. I mean, it's open. It's open, isn't it? I think you can pay to go and have a wander around, can't you? I'm sure you can, or parts of. Maybe.
I wonder how much it costs for a shit on a £5 million bog. Do you think they have like a 20 pence piece? As you go in, you've got to put a 20 pence piece in.
Got a big trench coat on, Jason. He's walking out going, I couldn't get rid of shit. My stomach's all bloated,
No, yeah, I'll take it and mend it. I fucking blocked it up with a big fucking Richard III. By the way, he lived here, at Blenheim Palace.
Sorry?
No, nothing. Go on. You carry on.
No. I was just listening to what you were saying.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, he's had a shit in it and he's blocked it up. And, I was just taking it away to clean it, and I want to bring it back. I weren't going to melt it down into a hole.
Oh dear. Well, I would say we're still having the fires. Temperatures are still quite warm here. In fact, coming back from the airport the other day when Lisa had arrived, I was 6 kilometres away from the main junction for me to get home, and the road. Well, it was a wall of fire. Really. The fire brigade was there and everything else, but there was well over 600.
600 fires.
Oh, is that what Superlead is saying? Churchill was born there, I think.
Yeah, Blenheim Palace. He probably fucking born into that.
In Blenheim Palace. In Blenheim Palace, of course, yeah. Yeah, so there was countless fire trucks and everything else, but it meant we had to do what should have been a 2-hour drive back from Lisbon Airport. Ended up being a 4.5, 5-hour journey back. Wasn't nice. But you know, the fires are still going around.
Uniblack system. Sorry, go on.
Cool. No. I'm liking the all the new graphics and everything else on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, it seems pretty good, doesn't it? Super Leeds has said he wouldn't sit on anything less than 24 carat. I fucking believe you as well. Oh dear me, fucking hell! It's just fucking. You know, I don't know. For me, it's just that is the story of the century. Who's got a £5 million fucking pound bog? I don't even think they got a £5 million pound bog. I saw plans for the bathroom, but I don't think Beckham's had a £5 million pound bog.
£5 million. I mean, that just shows how money can, you know, affect people. Do you know what I mean? That's somebody that obviously just thinks nothing, you know, nothing of it. Do you think that's a goer?
I don't know. I don't think it will be, to be fair. I think he's busy at the minute. He's having to do
What is happening with Brexit?
Do you know? I don't know. I saw this thing the other day because I've been ill, and a lot of time I've been fucking off monged at, but I've not really been paying much attention as well because of the things that we talked about before. You know, it has an impact on you when you see crap news, and you see these fucking idiots, and they're dancing. We're not gonna Brexit. Oh, we're not gonna Brexit. We're not. And you think to yourself, what the fucking hell did they get up this morning and like pop a load of fucking pills and decide to go? If you're gonna cause a fucking row, cause a row. Have a ruck, do something, but don't stand there dancing like a fucking gimp, fucking talking about Brexit with the European fucking Union flags, t-shirts on and stuff like that. It's just a ridiculous. It's just everything's just ridiculous. It's pointless. The whole thing's become completely pointless, and everything has been lost. Every single little bit of good that could have come from that has been lost. It's gone. You know, and democracy's dead. It's just dead now. Liberal Democrats are coming out and saying, if you democratically elect us, we'll fucking block Brexit. We'll block a democratically elected vote. What the fuck is wrong with them?
Hey, yeah.
They're the Liberal Democrats. It's in the name.
Unbelievable.
Democrats in the name. What is it then? What's their version of democracy? Oh, fucking. Do you see, this is why I can't get my blood pressure up and stuff. Too much, because that's why I don't look, because it's just too much. It just makes me, it just makes me puke. Makes me want to puke. It makes me want to vomit upon inside their vaginas. Leave that one out. Of course, as well, we've had we've been away. We've had the anniversary of 9/11, which I think was last week, weren't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Thursday, not really out big Wednesday. For it. Again, it's Wednesday.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because it was Friday the 13th, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah, Friday the 13th. Yeah, because fucking yeah.
So was there anything? Did the US do anything? Did they broadcast anything? Was it shown on the BBC for that reminder?
I don't think so. I know Uni earlier on when they were talking to me on Skype, we're talking about a new report that had come out, I think, from NIST, but the NIST report from, I think it was just said from same as it did from way back. I think it was about 2006 or 7 when NIST came out with the first report saying that it were fires that brought down the buildings, which is obvious fucking nonsense. But they've done it again, apparently. I don't know. But there is... I know David Icke's got a new book out about it, so he's probably going to be saying he's got some new information. But I from the snippets that I've listened to, there's nothing at all. And I just about know everything regarding 9/11 and what went on. I've looked at it so much that I just fucking know everything, you know. Well, I don't know everything, obviously, but I know it's more than your average, more than your average bear, shall we say?
Yeah, I mean, it's when we was talking about Facebook earlier on. I mean, that's one of the things. Partially because I'm not part of any of the groups anymore, but I very rarely see, your live videos from the I won't say usual suspects. Well, I've said usual suspects. I very rarely see them anymore. I rarely see the people that up until a couple of years ago that were posted virtually every other day. I don't see any notifications, any posts, and it's sad that people, now is the time to rise up and do something about it. But it just seems as though those people have now petered off, and there's nobody leading the way.
Yeah, well, I don't think we need to be led. I don't think that we need to be led. I think once you get leaders,
I was talking about it the other day, to a couple of friends, and it really is, I've kind of got to that. I'm going to do my bit in whatever way I can, because there's no point in.
Oops, I think we've lost him again. Has he overeated over there in Portugal, or is it me? I don't know. We shall find out. Oh, there we are. You're back. You just froze for a bit. Sorry, mate.
I'm here still.
Right. Okay. You froze for a bit.
I lost everything. I lost all vision and everything. I didn't see what was going on.
Oh no.
Yeah. I completely lost my thread there of where I was going. I wish I had a rewind button now.
We were talking about Facebook and people posting and
yeah. I mean, it's. I'm of the like mind now. Like I was saying, that I'm kind of doing what I can in my own little way, because I don't see the point in joining any groups because they're shut down. They can't. The freedom of speech is gone. So there's no point. You have to do what you can for yourselves and those around you. I think that's the key for everybody moving forward, and whether you call it raising your vibration or whatever else. I think if we all do our own individual things in whatever way we can, the good will out, as they say.
Yes, as they always say. They've been saying for quite a while. But yeah, social media's really a lot to blame for many of the things that we've got good. I mean, they seem to be fucking young people's heads up as well, don't they? They seem to be.
Yeah.
It's not just the stuff that they post. I mean, the stuff they post is fucking inane enough. But just the vitriol that people get from each other, and nobody ever gives it. If I see something and somebody said something, I think to myself, "You fucking stupid cunt." I don't think to myself, I've got to post that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't go on, does it? It's just fucking completely pointless. But you get people going and doing that. If I stopped and commented on and said, "You fucking idiot, what the fuck is this?" then I wouldn't ever. I'd never be off Facebook ever. Hey, I noticed Webby's joined us as well.
Yay! Good evening.
Evening, Webby.
Hope you're well, mate.
And Don Telling-Pike as well. Good evening to you. I think that's the. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's somebody who sent me an email. Actually, I've had a couple of emails while I've not been very well, and I will get round to answering them as well. So if you haven't had an email back from me, I'm not ignoring it. I have read them. I will get back to you. I'm just fucking terrible, absolutely terrible at shit like that. But you know, I will do at some point. So
I must ask, because I must have missed it earlier. What's happened to AD?
Oh, AD's in Thailand.
Uh-huh.
AD's in Thailand. I sent him a link, and he was going to join us, but he said he might be pissed, or he might. It's nearly 3 o'clock in the morning there where he is. So, and he when I was on the phone to him at about 12 o'clock, which is about 6 there, he was just waiting for his takeaway. So.
Right.
To be delivered.
He'll be long gone.
To deliver itself, yes, it'll be long gone. Yeah, so I don't know what he's doing, but he's obviously not turned up tonight. I didn't really expect him to, but do they have irony in time?
You're back. That's what matters. You're back, man. Absolutely. And I'm off this. Yeah. I'm off this weekend. Hey. Oh dear.
Same man, stop gang stalking. Yeah, I noticed that as well. I don't know if you knew anything about it, but I think
no. What?
Shane Gibbs had a thing outside the BBC on what day? It was some day in September. A targeted individuals meet. I think he got about over 100 people turned up. Targeted individuals meeting outside BBC. I think it was can't remember exactly when it were. It was one of the. I think it was. Someone tell me. But I do believe that is that's same man is somebody that's involved in that. As I do believe.
Right. But, okay. I'd be interested to know about that.
We'll get Shane on. We'll get Shane on at some point. August 29th. It were. There you go. He were outside the BBC. Check that out. And Shane Gibbs on Facebook. Have a look at his stuff on there, and again, that's another guy that I see very rarely from. Like you were saying, sometimes you see a lot from people, and I understand people have really given up. I mean, giving up posting things, it's just a waste of fucking. Apart from Webby, of course, who just posts everything. You know, if you don't get him to look after your dog for the weekend, because he'll probably fucking post it on Facebook. You'll never see it again. But most people, there are a lot of people that have done that have decided they can't be asked to fucking post up. Nobody. I sometimes post stuff, and I thought you used to think to myself when I post. I used to think when I posted something that people would be interested in it, but I never get out any feedback. And it's perhaps there are people interested, but they just don't see it.
Yeah, true. I mean, that's what I was saying. People. I bump into people here, and they say, "Oh, I posted something to you on Facebook." Never seen it.
Never seen it. I've had it loads of times.
Timeline hidden or anything like that. It's just never been there. So,
sometimes I think. If I turn the app off, and then I start it again, I'll end up with like 40 odd notifications of stuff that I've just never. It's just not come through. I get it all the time. I just can't be arsed with it. It's just fucking complete and utter waste of time. Anybody that's fucking using it, regularly and as something that they're using in their life, it's got to be fucking crackers.
Well, I mean, I was using it a lot. Obviously, I used to post a lot of the pictures of the food, whether it's been grown in, stuff that I've cooked and stuff like that. And I just come to, which is like a light bulb moment, is that why am I posting it on Facebook? If I can make money from, cooking food and this, that, I should have a dedicated site for that and do that. Facebook is not, it's not the platform for me anymore, wanting to move forward. I'm off this weekend. I'm off to work at a retreat this weekend for it's about 7 or 8 days. I'm cooking some food for some lovely people at a retreat, so that should be another experience for me. Get back from that, and I think a bit of preparing for the winter. all 2 months of it.
Well, so you've got to stock up the hay for the beasts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's not been too bad. It's not been too bad this year. Everything's been really good. You know, vegetables actually, where I had a crop failure this year, I managed to harvest quite a few and pickle a few things, you know, just stored away. But with the heat and everything else, and had a problem with the water pump, I lost my cabbages, Jason. I lost my cabbages and my sprouts.
man, look, I used to be scared of cabbages when I was a kid, you know.
I love them.
I won't go up to Grandad's garden because he had cabbages growing up there. I won't go up. So.
Terrifying, but they're huge. Right,
big fucking green airy bastards.
Excuse me. Get yourself a drink.
What did you see that? While you were off, did you see that thing that I put up that Eddie had sent me from that Thai newspaper?
Yeah, weather modification, methinks.
Yeah, the Department of Royal Rainmaking.
And what? So obviously it's over there, isn't it? I mean, I mean that when we, you know, when you hear or when you see people when they have posted on Facebook and they're going about, you know, geoengineering, you know, weather modification, everything else, and you have people obviously that come on and troll, you know, and try to, you know, what's the word? Tarnish their work, let's say. You know, you've got stories like that are blatantly obvious that it's going on. You know, so I think that should be shared high and wide for people that do post things and get shit from trolls. Because that was another reason for me kind of stopping doing the Facebook, because I found myself being trolled quite heavily, and that affected me psychologically, I'll say.
All right, okay.
You know, it's one of those. I would encourage anybody to, if you can put that back up, Jason, I'd like to use that myself. You know,
what's that?
Just to silence those people that do troll and whatever. Just to, you know, it's that, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I'll send you that, mate. No worries.
Could do. That's not for me to particularly find somebody now that's doing it. I'm just saying it's just one of those things that, you know, a little bit of ammunition for somebody that's just fed up with people, you know, trying to spoil the work that they're doing, let's say.
Yeah, well, there are people, and there are people that create, and there are people that destroy, aren't they? And it seems you're either one or you're the other. If you're someone who can create, you look at something else that someone's created. You can look at it critically, and if it's not for you, you can walk past.
Exactly that. You know, I've had, like I was saying, I'm not going to go into it, but you know, it's amazing how evil people can be. You know. Just by words alone. And I think that's the problem with Facebook, because it's easily done, you know, rather than it's a bit of cowardice really, rather than face the person and tell them, which we would do in the real world, you know, done it via, you know, the old social media where they can hide behind the words, but you know, it still affects the person, and I don't think people realise that when they do troll, how it affects that person psychologically afterwards. The consequences of that, you know.
Yeah, I do understand that. I do understand that, and obviously, I won't. I won't. I think trolling's a fucking waste of time anyway. You know, people are pricks, aren't they? And like you said, they'll say something from behind a keyboard that they'd never say to your face, no matter what, because they're just cowards. They wouldn't say it to your face.
No,
you know.
No, exactly that. You know, hiding behind the keyboard is the best. You know, the only thing that I don't know. Well, anyway, they're not worth my energy, Jason. They're not worth my energy, so I won't go into it.
Well, I'm fortunate. I don't get many. I think they just realise that I just couldn't give a fuck anyway.
Well, I think it quite surprised me, because it's never happened before, and to have it done, you know, it's quite a bit of a shock. But you know, I'm over it.
Fuck them, man.
Absolutely. I'm a bit concerned at the time. The only reason why I say that we have morning, back to the UK, and I know it's 9 o'clock, but I may have to leave you. Probably Brendan, so I do apologise, but I've got things to do before.
All right, no problem, mate.
But yeah, I mean, it's been for me the last, like I say, the last 5 days doing this challenge that I've been doing is really getting me regimented. You see that then? Say, Jason, I must go. I've got to go. I've just started putting my mind into gear and thinking, right, let's get this shit sorted. You know, years time, I'll be back on again, and it'll be completely different. Completely different.
Well, listen, you've always got friends in the RN chat room, and here as well.
Absolutely.
And here, Wheels, not a problem at all, mate. And it's a pleasure speaking to you. I don't know what I'm going to talk to everyone else for the last fucking. I'd probably give another 15 minutes and then sign off a bit, I think.
Well, it's like I said. I mean, I meant to say it before, but with all the phones going off and everything else, I did still want to come on, obviously. And it's a shame that Aidy's not there, so I do apologise for that. But you know, needs must and everything else. I've got a lot to do, so I do apologise to everybody that's there as well. I do intend to come back on, and like I say, probably a lot more happier news next time you see me as well.
Awesome, mate. Awesome. Well, if you need to get off, get yourself off. It's not a problem at all, mate. I hope everything goes well for you, and we wish you well for your future.
Thanks for having me on.
Keep your spaghetti in order.
Don't you worry. It's fine. Take it easy, man.
All right, mate. Cheers.
Bye now.
There we go. There was Owen Lloyd Martin from all the way in Portugal. He's left me high and dry. I've got, it's just like 10 past 9. Might have to finish early from you lot. Yeah. Oops. What's that? So yeah, I think that's probably we've got some bit of a story, not a bit of a conversation going on in the chat room about 9/11, about the no planes. What about the passengers? Says Unit Black Sister. Yeah, that's an interesting point. What happened to the passengers? You can have a look at all the evidence, and you can make out what you can make out for yourself what you think went on. But there are many. I've seen people talking in here about the directed energy weapons that Dr. Judy Wood talks about in her book, Where Did the Towers Go? And I know Andrew Johnson, who we've had on this programme, and we've had Dr. Judy Wood on as well. He's also an advocate of that, the directed energy weapons. That's, for me, I don't know. I mean, there's the thermite argument. There was the thermate argument. There's the controlled demolition argument, and there's the stories from the weekend before 9/11 when there were power outages in the towers and people were working in there, and there's speculation that that's when they were putting in the demolition charges. Again, it's all things that it's all things that you can look at yourself, and you can make your own mind up, and people can. The best thing to do about it is to have a conversation about it, and not have an argument about it, because it is that easy. And I think that's probably been the downfall for a lot of these groups that have been looking at this over the years. Sane Man has put Wendy fans did 9/11. That's a Wendy fan is it's a phrase that United fans call Wednesday supporters, because they're a little bit jealous of us, even though they're in Premier League and we're not. They're still jealous, and of course they are now. So Wednesday fans did 9/11. Now they're owned by Saudi prince who was related to Bin Laden or had something to do with the Bin Laden family. So I don't know about saying Wednesday fans did 9/11. I think probably closer to United that did 9/11 because they've got closer ties with the people that were close to the people that were involved. So Big Dunk. I like Big Dunk though. He was a Hun. Big Dunk, I don't know who that is. Who's Big Dunk? My top didn't bring down the towers. It's not a top anyway, I've told you it's a dress. Best comment of the night was, is it Wendy's new away top, the bastard? I'm sure I bet that was Same Man again. Tosser, fucking saying things about me, man. You know, and I'm on his side and he's not on mine. It shows you that us Wednesday fans, we're more open and to each other. Hey, Uni, I'll send you the link. We'll see what you've got to say for the last half an hour. I'm giving you half an hour. Let's get you on. So wait for your phone for your Skype thing to send me a Skype message, and then it'll pop up because it's not on my screen at the moment. So send me a Skype message and I'll send you the link. And please have something to say as well. Buemler. No, this is not. Oh, this is terrible. This Big Dunk. Who's Big Dunk? What are we talking about? This Big Dunk. Big Dunk. Dunk. I can't think who I'd be. Anyway, £5 million shitter. Awesome, isn't it? Here it is. Here we go. Right. I've sent Uni a link. We will be talking about 9/11. Oh, Duncan Ferguson. Yeah, he was a good guy. He was a decent bloke. He was shagging Gary Speed's wife, Mrs., which is why he hung himself. But apart from that, it's a nice enough bloke, Duncan Ferguson. Yeah, look into that, will you? Duncan Ferguson and Gary Speed's missus. No, I'm saying no. So Uni's going to be coming on. We're going to be talking about 9/11. It was the anniversary. In fact, I thought about coming on when it was the anniversary on 9/11 itself. Coming on doing a show, but I don't think I was feeling right smart. I've not been feeling right smart, for a few weeks. Like, and today's about best I've felt for a bit. So, which is why you've got the pleasure of my company. But yeah, I was thinking about doing something on 9/11. I don't know what Uni's going to bring to this, but I've sent him the link. Someone broke into his house and he was in the gym. He twatted them. Okay. Alrighty then. I don't quite think that works, does it? Really, on the old Gary Speed story, because weren't he found hanging in the gym? It was a garage, wasn't it? It was a garage where he was found. Anyway, I don't know. Interesting stuff, though. Go and have a look. Like there's tons and tons of interesting stuff that you're going to have missed because it's all gets into this mist of this, like, it's so different these days. Back in the day when you got perhaps a terror, something that were attributed to terrorist attack or anything like that, when it appeared. Oh God. Sorry. Then it would be one every so often. They wouldn't be like they are now. Like all these news stories. News goes so fast. I mean, I've been in hospital. I come out. We've got a new prime minister, and we've got this Brexit thing's just gone completely and utterly tits up. It's just here it comes. Awkward American Buemler. We could take piss. I'm going to add him to the show. The thing is here anyway. Let's see what he's going to say. You're listening to Raconteurs News on Tuesday, the 17th of September. Jesus Christ. Didn't half flying, man. And it's been about a month, but we are back. Well, I'm back anyway. Aidy's buggered off to Bangkok. And he's not been joining us tonight because he's obviously been enjoying himself too much. So let's have this lad on. Good evening, Buemler.
Well, thankfully it's working. When I tried to click on the direct link from Skype, it was telling me, oh, you have to edit your settings to allow mic and camera access or something like that. So I just opened it via the browser, via Chrome, and it allowed me to join in just fine. I don't know what was up with that.
Okay, so what do you want to come on about, man?
Well, I am interested in the. Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm interested in what what Patrick and the others were saying in the chat about. I've never heard about this. I've actually surprisingly never heard of this energy weapon story before.
The what story?
And the energy weapon idea, directed energy weapon. I've never heard of this before, so I am interested in hearing more about it.
There's a professor called Judy Woods who wrote a book called Where Did the Towers Go? And in her book, she surmises that it were a directed energy weapon is the only weapon that could have turned those towers to dust, because they were essentially turned to dust. Yeah. So only a directed energy weapon would be able to do that. And then she explains how, I think, I've not read the book myself, and it's really an expensive book. If you want to buy it, it's going to cost you like $300 or something. It's a really expensive book.
Yeah.
But it's called Where Did the Towers Go? And I think it more surmises that of what it must have been rather than what it was. But we had her on the show, and she gave a good argument. Well, as far as I can remember, anyway. 'Cause, I mean, loads of shit's happened since then. But I mean, this is all fairly old stuff, you know. Where Did the Towers Go? Came out in, I think, 2008. I think.
Because what I was mentioning to you before on Skype about the whole new 9/11 report, it's not from NIST, because NIST doesn't have the balls to do that, because NIST. But it's by Richard Gage and the guys at 9/11 Architects and Engineers.
Right.
Basically, yeah, they basically did like an analysis of like Building 7 and basically, the whole thermite idea and all that. And according to them, apparently they've concluded that it had to have been thermites or thermates. If are those two different things, thermate and thermite?
Thermate and thermite, yeah, they are, yeah.
Oh, I thought they were the same. Shows how much I know about these things.
Well, someone said anyway, you can get the book Where Did the Towers Go? It's fairly cheap on Andrew Johnson's site. It's 30 quid-ish. That's from Rachel in the chat room. So you can get it from Andrew Johnson's site. I don't. To be fair, I've not read it. But I have interviewed her and Andrew Johnson. So yeah, the thermite. I mean, there's been all this speculation for many, many years about thermate and thermite. I mean, the two different compounds. I mean, what's your understanding of it, and what's your thoughts on what went on?
You mean how the towers went down?
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I don't know. I don't know about this energy weapon idea, so I can't say one way or the other about that. I'm not going to make any judgments if I don't know the story. So, but from what I do know, it really just seems like it's thermite / controlled demolition, which is pretty much all the same thing when you think about it. It's they put really devices in the what is it in the towers before the weekend, not just the weekend before, but 9/11 when the power went out. But I think like even months beforehand, because if I remember correctly, the team that bought the Twin Towers, they had access several months before 9/11 to basically mess with the towers and do whatever. And there's also the stories of the survivors, of people who talked about how there was like weird noises coming from certain floors in the towers, and how certain elevators wouldn't work, and stuff like that, and like loud thumping noises, and so which basically goes towards the whole setting up explosives thing.
Yeah.
All of Judy Wood's analysis are based on footage that had already been manipulated. What does that mean?
Well, there are people that suggest that the footage that was of 9/11, a lot of it were manipulated. And there were people that believed there were no planes. There were people that believed that there were holographic images and explosions. The buildings just exploded rather than planes crashing into them. There's people that think a lot of stuff.
I mean, I don't know about this hologram. I know Francis Richard Connolly thinks there's no planes.
What? Say that again?
I said I know that Francis Connolly thinks that there was no planes.
I think there's a lot more people that going down that road these days than there used to be. I mean, it used to be quite a taboo subject to say that there were no planes. I mean, people used to really. It were a bit like a flat earther is now. A flat earther, people will just dismiss what they say and not even listen.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas back in the day, that's what happened with people that said there were no planes. Like I've said before, I went to give a message to David Taylor that was from a guy who'd been doing all the original no plane stuff. Back in so it were all a bit cloak and dagger and all a bit strange, to be honest. It was almost as if looking at it now and from standing back from it, it all looked a little bit manipulated. The whole lot of it did.
Do you have any good examples of the footage looking manipulated?
Well, I mean, there's plenty, isn't there? There's the one that I've seen knocking about on Facebook, which is a few years old, but it's popped its head up again, and it's Building 7, and it claims to be the opposite side of Building 7, and you can see where the charges are coming from. Now, that's been proven to be, and people are still posting it now, and it's a picture of Building 7. You know, the Building 7 falling.
Yeah.
But first of all, there's some cracks, and then there's some squibs come out of the side of the back of the building, and they said this is the back of the building that you didn't see on the front building. And you can once you can see that it's actually just the other. It's just a mirror image of the first one that had the stuff put onto it. You know, the explosions and the sounds and all that had all just been added to it afterwards. So there's tons and tons of manipulate. And what happened were, you've got to remember, back in these days, back in the earlier days, what you'd have is, you won't have social media. It weren't quite as, we're nowhere near as big. When you get back to 2005, 2006, I mean, we're nowhere, were it? MySpace, I think, were about around that time. But
MySpace.
there was no, there was no social media, so things didn't get swallowed up as much, and so people would do analysis on certain things, and then there'd be a bunch of debunkers who would do analysis and post it on their site, and it sort of became a little bit of a battle of who could come up with the best scenario for the footage and the situation that they found before them. And so it were an even battle, but now it's not an even battle, because you get things that people post. Now they'll post it on Facebook, whereas before they were posting it in forums and discussions and things like that. And then there were space for discussion. But with social media, that space for discussion's been diminished into such a small amount that the only people that ever see anything are the people that know it all, that know it anyway, that know of that or know about it. But whereas back in those days, there were, it was wide open, and there weren't as many. You know what I mean? So I think after 9/11, they think they were the Madrid bombing that happened in the bombing that happened in Madrid 911 days after 9/11, on the 11th of
I've never
March.
heard of that one.
Have you not heard of that one? I do with that was a couple of years after 9/11. I think they called it. It was a train bombing. A train went into a station in Madrid and blew up, or there were some bombs on trains or things. Some
7/7?
Sorry?
7/7?
No. This is in Madrid.
Oh,
In Spain.
I don't know where that is. I've never heard of that.
It's in Spain. It's the capital of Spain. Okay, you don't know where don't know where Madrid is.
No, I'm terrible at geography.
I think the American school system must be terrible. Anyway, there was a bomb.
That's an understatement.
The capital of Spain is Madrid, and there was a bombing. It was all put down to Al Qaeda. It just so happened to be on the 11th of March, and it was 911 days after 9/11. So they said that this is the reason why. This is why we're Al Qaeda and all that sort of shit. So, but the length between 9/11 and the Madrid bombings was. I think when it first starts, it really starts in 1993 when you get the Oklahoma City bombings. This is when they first got the first idea for terrorist attacks on their own soil. Was the Oklahoma?
No, 93 was the World Trade Center bomb.
Yeah, 93 were 95, weren't it? The Oklahoma City bombings.
Yeah.
So 93 you got World Trade Center, that bombing, and that was all found to be a CIA. It had been set up by the CIA. And the idea was to crash one of the buildings onto the other one, topple one of the buildings onto the other one, using bombs in the basement. But apparently it didn't park close enough to a certain pillar or something, and it didn't work. But it all turned out to be people that had been set up and set up to do this by the CIA. Right? That all came out. Well, it all sort of quietly came out. People would look for it, knew about that. Then you get Oklahoma City bombings, which is 95. So a couple of years later, that again, there's fucking mass discrepancies with the Oklahoma City bombings, and the official story just don't fit at all. And then, then you go sort of move on for a few years, 6 years to 9/11. But since then, it's been increasing and increasing and increasing. And so the more and more that it increases, the more and more that the information that's available becomes diluted and becomes then overtaken by something that is perceived to be more important. We don't get that same in-depth research. We do get some in-depth research, like people we've had on here. Ollie Demigod, I don't know what I think about him, but he's someone who goes out and does his own. Somebody who presents as he does his own research and all this sort of stuff. And we've got a lad who comes on here as well, Jason Green. He's from Sheffield. No, he lives just down the road from me, and he comes on. He talks about terrorism. We've had him on a couple of. Must have him on again soon. It seems that we seem to have lost ourselves. We've got all caught up in everything, and everyone's got their own little agenda. Everyone's got their own little trick pony, the thing that they're fighting against, whether it's 5G, whether it's fracking, whether it's climate change, whether it's geoengineering, whether it's 9/11, whether it's terrorism, whether it's Islamophobia, whether it's right-wing politics, whether it's Trump, whether it's Robinson, or whether it's all these things. It's all gone into this huge mishmash, and they've just completely fucking bamboozled us with nonsense, and that nonsense is borne out in what we find in social media now.
Yeah, that's pretty much the whole point, is to keep people fighting against each other. That's why they have all these school shootings going on these days. I've talked to a few people that talk about, like, back before 9/11, we wouldn't have all these school shootings and stuff. But, like, why is it nowadays we have all these school shootings? And I'm like, well, if you take a look at the people that are alleged to have been the lone nut, because the lone nut, they always want to use that excuse. You take a look at the people connected to this lone nut. Where did he get the money for the weapon? Where did he get the weapon? What led him to all this? You find all sorts of connections, and it's the same. And they have so many of these events, like whether it be school shootings or quote unquote terrorist attacks, or even like massive natural disasters like earthquakes and storms, which, as you said before, they can be man-made, which makes me think, which honestly has me doubting certain events, and maybe like say for Hurricane Katrina. How do we know that wasn't manufactured by man? But how do we know that wasn't man-made?
Well, we don't, do we?
No. Although the flat Earth thing, I personally don't know one way or the other. I'm not going to be one of those guys that say, "Oh, it's flat Earth," but I'm also not going to be the one that say, "Oh, it's not flat Earth," because I don't know. I don't know for sure one way or the other. But I do agree that way too many people use that as an excuse. It's like, "Oh, if you talk about anything conspiracy theory, like they'll be like, "Oh, you must be a flat earther."
Look, that's dead. It's dead. That's gone. That's the reason why we've got this censorship. Is because that has gone. People don't do that anymore. All right. People are now seeing that things are not. Look, I know. We know when people say, I don't know whether the Earth is flat or whether it's round or whether it's a sphere. Well, I know exactly what it is. I'm just going to keep it to myself.
Hmm.
I can't be asked to say, "Oh, I'm a flat earther," or "I'm not a flat." There's arguments, but I can't. What's point? What's the point?
It usually just leads to pointless arguments about it usually just leads to arguments like, "Oh, it basically comes down to basically proving that my dick is bigger than yours," kind of thing.
Well, that's not true, is it?
Well, I mean, for a lot of people, that's what it ends up as. Like, no, I'm right about this, which means I'm smarter than you, and then they have to gloated in their face and all that, especially online on like YouTube comments and stuff like that, and Facebook, social media, because people, and then of course you also have the bots as well, who, are YouTube or CIA programmed to spread misinformation. And usually the way you can tell that is just by looking at the account. Like, say, if it has no videos or no likes or anything like that, that pretty much shows you right there that it's a fucking bot. And it's ridiculous, and that's why Boris Johnson. That's another one. And Brexit. It's just a way to keep people constantly at each other's throats. It's like, no, this is real. This isn't real. Just to basically keep us from attacking who's really responsible, which, regardless of what anyone believes about 9/11, as long as you don't believe the official story, whether you believe it was thermite or energy weapons, or whether there was planes or no planes, regardless of any of that, we know who were the ones responsible. It was the international, the bankers, the Rothschilds, the Bushes, the Rockefellers, all them. We know who's responsible. Isn't that the most important thing?
Uniteds of this world.
What?
The Sheffield Uniteds of this world.
I don't know what Sheffield United is, so I don't get the reference.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know. Yeah. You've got to listen. All that. I feel that. When I look around myself, I look around and I think to myself that these kids these days, they really ain't got really a clue about anything. But it's their life, and they go along and they go through their life, and then they learn and they find out that what you were telling them were right all along. And it's the same. It's the same as where I would just go in. which I can't remember now. So,
By the way, what were you saying? Sorry. Well, what you were saying before about the whole, the United States learned from World Trade Center in 1993 to attack their own soil and stuff. Well, they've actually, they've been doing that for decades, even before that. Just look at Operation Northwoods.
yeah. Hang on. I just want to put that up there from Apple Charlotte. Oh, by the way, nice picture, Apple. If that's really you, I doubt it. You probably look like Super Leads after an eat out.
Super Leads is actually Apple on a different account, using his phone or something.
We don't care though, because we're well.
Yeah, I asked Apple why she didn't reply, and she told me it's because of autism, and I understand that. But dang, I want to talk to Apple.
Mate,
I guess that
it'll happen for you. Don't worry. She'll reply to you. He or she will reply to you. It all depends. It could be a he. You never know, do you?
You never know. But I trust her.
But yeah.
I read that comment that you put on the screen with Charlotte said, yeah, it's like in the end, no matter how it was done, we know who did it. We need to get rid of these people who are behind it, and then after that we can make them confess exactly what happened, or whether it be through whatever means. But that should be our priority. It's just taking down the who. Like for example, the Rothschilds, for example. They're usually the ones I like to come back to. But basically, to my knowledge, I believe they have around $700 trillion or something like that. Yes, I'm a he derp.
What's a derp?
I think that means it's like you're basically brain farting, something like that.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what it means. I'm not too sure. I'm not too great on internet lingo either. I usually tend to stay away from these like memes that people like to post, like in these dumb acronyms that people come up with, like LGBT or MN as blah blah blah. Freaking.
Well, Dillygaff, yeah. What's that one? Come on. Where's that one? Sorry.
Or what's the new one? Freaking the one that's the one we were talking about last time that we had a show. This new one that people are calling people nowadays.
Incels.
Incels, yeah. Like, where do people? Who comes up with this stuff? Like, who comes up with these words and just makes them popular on the internet? That's what I don't. That's what I don't get.
I think there's a bloke somewhere. I think there's a bloke somewhere that just sits there and just makes shit up and just says, right, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to make it. And you see, because they're so powerful, these media people, they can do what they want and they just make shit popular. And they just do it. That's what they do. That's what it must be same in your country. Taylor, what is it again?
Oh, it's exactly the same, yeah. To be honest, well, the thing is, the U.S. and the U.K. are basically, at this point, they're basically the same. They're two sides of the same coin. They're basically the same. It's like if the U.S. farts, the U.K. is going to smell it. If the U.K. farts, the U.S. is going to smell it. Anything that happens here affects there, and vice versa.
Oh, is it? Oh, we've got a row outside our house.
A rat?
A row.
A row? What's that?
An argument. We've got some breaking news here. Raconteurs news. Our back garden. We've got a row going on. Let's have a listen. If we can see out the window. We don't want to impede.
Maybe they're hearing us and they're arguing about us. Like, oh, these fucking conspiracy nutcases, man. They need to be put in an insane asylum.
They'll be saying it to you. They're saying it about you. They won't be saying it about me.
No. Oh, but about the Rothschilds, apparently they have $700 trillion right now. if I remember correctly, that was their current current number.
What's that?
I believe the Rothschilds currently have $700 trillion, maybe a little bit more. Last time I checked.
Just a sec. We've got a situation going on. You just carry on talking.
All right.
Did we have a big bang? Yeah. I think we just heard a shot, man.
Oh, someone has a gun?
Yeah.
I thought you couldn't have guns there in the UK.
We're not supposed to. The criminals follow the law, though, don't they?
Yep, just like how, they have all these school shootings and they're like, yeah, but don't the laws say that this person isn't supposed to have this gun? It's like, well, then how do you think they got it?
Hang on, my missus is just ringing police. Just a sec. See if we can get a
damn.
drift on what's going on.
Maybe it's a setup. Maybe they're setting this up to get the. Maybe they're setting this up to get the police down to your house to get them to come at you.
On alter police. It's not that.
On alter police. It's live here on Raconteurs News. With something going off in back over here. I'm sure I've heard a gunshot. I'm sure I've heard a gunshot.
Yeah, you're absolutely certain it was a gunshot?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain. My missus bring coppers anyway, so you're right. So, it's all fucking nuts, isn't it, man? It's all what sort of world are you expecting to grow up in?
Well, fate. I guess fate will decide. But in the end, I'm hoping. All I can say is I hope that what happens is that because regardless of what's happening, and regardless of what the media might say, more and more people are waking up, and to prove that, that's why they're having all these censorship laws. Because otherwise, they wouldn't be so desperate to censor the internet, like YouTube, etc., if there wasn't enough people waking up.
Yeah, but you see, this is the thing. We sit here and we talk about the wealth of these people, and so it's saying we've got so many fucking trillion and we've got so many billion or whatever of money. But surely it's up to us in order for us to get ourselves out of this.
Exactly.
Hang on,
this is why I like the idea of you were mentioning before about the whole democracy thing, how democracy's dead. To me, democracy is an innate evil. It's a step from behind a totalitarianism. Because in the end, even if 99% of the public believes wants something to be law, what about the remaining 1% that don't want it? Why should they be forced to go along with it just because the majority say we have to have this? That's why I believe in volunteerism, if that's the right word for it. I would say anarchism, but I don't think that's the right way to put it. Basically, volunteerism is if you want to get involved in something, cool. If you don't, then nobody should have the authority to tell you what to do. There shouldn't be any cops. There shouldn't be, because in the end, who gives these people that have these fancy uniforms and these badges? Who gives them the authority to tell us what to do? What gives them the authority to take our houses, to take our lives away from us, just because we didn't happen to have some green paper to give them? It's utter nonsense, isn't it? It's like they say we're going to take away your house. We're going to take away your electricity. We're going to take away your water, your food, because you weren't able to pay this green paper that doesn't mean anything anyway.
But until we have the power, because it's no good us saying they've got a certain amount of money, and until we make that fucking worthless and not the currency of society. The currency of society should be what you do, and how how you help other people, and how you trade with other people to get things done for you that you can't do, but they can. That until we say to them, all this shit that you've got, all this fucking diamonds, it don't mean fuck. You can't eat diamonds. You can't eat fucking gold. You can't eat fucking yachts and stuff like that. And until we show them that it's got no fucking value, we're stuck in this perpetual situation, which we've been told for every year since 2008. The old fucking the old things. Oh, sorry. The whole thing is going to collapse. The whole economy in the world is going to completely collapse. We've been told that since 2008. And when I was talking about him earlier on that we had on in 2015, he's another one. It's just like we can't do anything until we take the shiny things out of his eyes and think, well, they don't fucking mean it. That means nothing. It means fuck all. I mean, it's a £5 million fucking 18-karat gold bog. For fuck's sake, it's a fucking shit house. So if someone said to you, if after fucking 20 people have used that shit house, if you will lick it, you've just got to lick it a couple of times and you can have it. That's what we've got into. We've got into this situation where this fucking big, heavy lump of fucking metal is worth more than our own dignity.
Exactly. It's like these material objects, and this is what I know that this might seem a little it might be a little derailing, but I also wanted to mention, this is what makes me so annoyed. I'm not going to say angry, but I'm going to say makes me so annoyed about all these like people on YouTube where they make money off of YouTube or Patreon or Twitch or whatever, and all they do is upload themselves either talking about or playing something like video games or a TV show or a movie, making like speculation videos and stuff like that. And it just it pisses me off that they care so much about these insignificant things, but not about the things that actually matter. I guarantee if people like PewDiePie, I don't know if you know who that is. But,
I've heard the name because the shooter in New Zealand, where were it in New Zealand? Fucking hell.
There was a New Zealand shooting.
The shooter in New Zealand, didn't he say subscribe to PewDiePie?
Yeah, PewDiePie is I believe him. I'm not sure if he still is, but last time I checked, he's the #1 most subscribed person on YouTube. He makes millions every year because of from YouTube alone. And it's ridiculous. If people like him and just like, let's say for example, if you took every single person on YouTube that has a YouTube channel based around some form of video game or TV show or movie, whether it be speculation videos or whatever, if they all decided to just one day just wake up and say we're not going to go along with this bullshit anymore, things would change. Things would change. And that's what that's why it annoys me so much. It's like you have people like every day they'll upload a new video about, like, say for example, Fortnite. They'll upload a new Fortnite video every day. Of them just talking shit like, "Yo, look at this motherfucking nigga, man! I beat his ass." Stuff like that every day, and they make money off of it through either monetization or through Patreon or whatever. But they don't give enough of a damn about things that actually matter. And that's what pisses me off. That's what really annoys me.
No, but nobody does anymore, do they? Nobody gives a fuck about what actually matters. What actually matters.
Exactly, they don't.
We all know what actually matters to us. To yourself, everyone knows that.
Yeah, it's like, because in the end, what happens when those video games go away? Is when the United States and the United Kingdom and the rest of the whole world is made to an official totalitarian dictatorship.
and 90% of the population on the planet is completely wiped out, and the remaining 10% are made into slaves who literally are being held by a neck choker and a whip. It's like, what's going to happen then?
Come on, give us a bit more ghetto. Give us a bit more. What do they call it? Do they call it jive? Give me some jive, man.
I've never heard that word before, jive.
Jive, oh yeah. Oh, that's what they used to have in on American films. In America, on American films that we used to get over here in England in the 70s, right? All the black blokes talk jive.
Hmm.
You don't know how to talk jive.
Must be a culture thing that must have faded away, because nowadays we have stuff like you a gay nigga, man. You a gay nigga. Stuff like that. Or, the LGBT and stuff like that. It's like with new generations comes new acronyms, comes new forms of insults, comes new. It's basically the same cycle. This is why I say to people, anyone who goes online and says, "Oh, 9/11 changed the world." No, it didn't. It didn't change nothing. The world has been like this for hundreds of years. The only thing that it did was just make it more obvious to the public eye. It's the same thing with any big event. And
stop saying the M word.
I know that Jason guy. He's a friend of mine. He's a friend of mine on PlayStation. He likes to mess with me because he's a dickhead. Fuck you, man. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, nigga.
Yeah, fuck you, nigga.
Oh, that's going to fucking turn up in a few years' time after I'm dead and I've been sainted and everything, and everyone's wearing these and fucking pipes on the legs, and everyone's had the leg amputated just to be like me. I'm going to be. This is going to pop up, and everyone. That's it. It's over and done with. Completely done.
Hey, I would rather the public be like you than be like Boris Johnson or Donald Trump or George Bush. Because at least people like you and Webby and stuff actually got a clue of what the hell is going on, instead of fucking PewDiePie with this whole PewDiePie here with a new video talking about this meme that just recently came up on Facebook. Like, I swear memes are way too popular on the internet. It's ridiculous. It's like you cannot have a proper conversation with anyone online without them using some kind of meme comment to try to respond to you. It's like people don't know how to have conversations anymore.
Do you think that perhaps you've come down with a new disease? Something that can be you perhaps put you on some ADHD or on some Ritalin, because you've got meme. Meme overload, we call it.
Memeitis.
Far too many memes on the internet. So what you're going to do is, it's this one. I thought you were taking your top off and showing us something.
No. I don't have anything to show. Trust me, I have nothing to show. I'm a fat bastard, 230 pounds. I don't got nothing to show.
I thought you had something written on the front of your T-shirt. That's what you were going to say. Okay.
No, there's nothing important there. It just says like, what does this say? I never bother to read my shirts. I don't even bother to when I buy clothes, if they happen to have something written on them. If I have something written on it, I don't even bother to know what it is. I'm just like, hey, the shirt fits, whatever. I'm just gonna put it on.
You're pretty laid back, good dude, man.
That's why I have Seahawks shirts and stuff like that, and people are like, "Hey, you're a Seahawks fan." I'm like, "No, it's just a shirt that fits well on me. That's all I can say." That's the only reason I got it. But man, okay. Well, first of all, Mr. Jason, which not you, but the one in the chat, and he likes to be an asshole. He likes to be an asshole.
Okay.
But oh, by the way, I beat his ass on FIFA because we played in the FIFA demo like what was it, 6 months ago, and I kept kicking the ball away from I kept kicking his players' feet, and the fucking game kept giving me red cards for some reason. I don't know why. Like, dude, I'm just taking the ball. Why am I getting red cards?
You're fucking mad. You're one badass, I tell you now. What's up here at this side? Listen, most of us, I think I speak for everyone in the chat room and everything. We're all, perhaps maybe all of us except one or two, but we admire your exuberance. Sorry, the exuberance of youth that you have. I think that we like that. We like that you like the kid who goes and befriends the old people at the old people's home, aren't you? We're all sat in his rocking chairs, and you're all making us, talking to us, and making us feel young again, and American as well.
Hey, well, at least I'm having a positive contribution to things, and that's all I can really ask for.
So, is there any developments on the old love life?
If you mean with Charles, well, like I said, she hasn't.
With Charles, I mean with anybody. Have you got
no.
anywhere?
No love life. Trust me, there is no love development anywhere. Trust me.
I'm not talking about love.
Wait, what?
I'm not talking about love.
Oh, sorry. That's what I heard you say.
No. I would just. Is there any developments on the? Have you managed to pop your cherry?
Oh. No, remember, we're waiting for Super Leads for that.
Right. I think we'll probably have to have a fundraiser at some point and get you a hooker, man.
Man, freaking, I get no money, bro. I get no money. I be sitting here on my PlayStation, freaking playing. That doesn't even work half the time. Playing some game, getting cussed at online for saying "fucking bitch, man, you're doing this shit." And meanwhile, my freaking the only car that we have in the house isn't, it's constantly not working because of X reason. And I keep trying to tell my parents, just fuck the car, just get a new one. And they're like, oh, it's too much money. Well, with all the money that you're putting in to constantly fix the car, like almost like every month or almost every week, something's wrong with it. And at this point, you might as well just say fuck it and just get a new one.
Do you know where I thought you were going with that? I thought you were going to go, that you're throwing money at this car, and for the amount of money that this car is fucking costing you, you might as well fucking buy me a prostitute. Imagine that if we set up a GoFundMe page just to get you laid and everything. We could live stream it, eh? We get good. You'd be the virgin porn star, awkward American guy, live on YouTube on StreamYard on YouTube. What do you reckon? I mean, come on.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm good enough looking to attract any views. They'd probably be like, yo, this fat ass man, get him off the camera. This American white boy, got to get him off the camera. That's what I bet people would probably say.
Oh dear me. Listen, mate, you're a top fucking geezer, and I think Apple Charlotte has said that she wants you to have a regular spot on Raconteurs News.
That's very nice. Thank you, Charles, for saying that.
Yeah. So, and then there were people saying that that your love life had gone from you'd changed from your left hand to your right hand. That could be awkward.
Why can't it be both?
Oh, threesome, man! God's sake, that's all. Every man's dream. Listen, if you've got enough meat for both, then you should be using it.
Like, yeah, what? This is why I always are like, hey, why choose one when you could just have both? There's too many Japanese anime like that, where they have the one guy who's dumb as shit, and I mean like literally like dumb as shit, and yet he has all these hot chicks on him, and they want his dick for whatever reason, and then it always comes down to like, which one will he choose? I'm like, why doesn't he just choose them all? They're all one-dimensional freaking stereotypes anyway. Why can't he just choose them all?
And my wife just said, and there lies your problem.
It's not real, man.
Me, I weren't listening. What you should do, we've got this show over here on British TV, on Channel 4. It's on at late at night on a Friday night, and it's usually good for a laugh. And it's called Naked Attraction. And what happens is, you'll get a woman and she'll stand. So you get a woman and she'll stand there, and I think there's about 6 different blokes, isn't there? 6 different blokes, and they're behind a screen. And so then she has to whittle them down to like 2 and pick one. So, but they're all naked behind screen. So what happens is it goes up first, and it goes up towards the knob, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Goes up towards the knob, and so they get the seat knob first. So they go and have a look, and it's this is what we've come down to. So she's looking at knobs, and then she eliminates one because she don't like look at his knob. Then it goes up a bit, and it gets to his tits and his chest and that, and then she eliminates one again because she don't like look at him. And then it gets all like to the face and everything. I think he's got 3 left by then or whatever, and he eliminates them based on all that, and they get. It's just completely fucking ridiculous. And yeah.
They can actually
Apple Charlotte's put in thing. It's trash. It's a disgusting program. I mean, it is. It's
hilarious.
But I know it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious for all the wrong reasons.
It's a fucking program. It's just a complete and utter fucking exploitation.
I don't even have television in my room. The only reason I have a TV in my room, but I can't even watch TV on it because I got rid of the cable box and all that. Because all I use it for is to play games. Because who the hell wants to watch TV? Anything even if something is good on TV, you could just watch it online. Why do you need a TV? This isn't the 1960s where this was a brand new thing, or the 1930s. No, the TV's been around like the 30s. But basically, this isn't the 20th century anymore. We don't need televisions anymore. It's out of style. That's why. That's why I just feel like it just needs to go. It just needs to go. There's too much bullshit on it. That's all it is. Like BBC, CNN, and people talk about, well, Fox News is better than CNN, or CNN is better than this, or BBC is better. It's like they're all the fucking same. They're all the same. They're run by the same people. They're paid by the same people. They're told what to say by the same people. In the end, it's not about what you're watching. It's about what they're saying. And in the end, none of them say anything worse that's substantial at all.
But, yeah, we get Jason, your mate, is put in who remembers Eurotrash, and I remember that. It was a late night thing. Yeah, that were shit, weren't it? And it'd have like fucking French blokes in fucking leather trousers talking with, and then there'd be a bird behind chucking custard over her tits and something. And it would just
I'd do anything to be on TV.
Oh yeah, that was the Word had this program. It was a late night program on Channel 4 back in the 90s. While you were an itch in your dad's pants, and what it were. Is they had this part where somebody would do anything to be on TV, right? So what they do is they get people to do the most disgusting things on the telly, and so it was like a bit of a contest of who. So what were they? They had like snogging an old bird, an old woman, which that guy looked like he liked it anyway.
What in the world?
Yeah, snogging some old Doris and like fucking tongues and lot, right? And she got hairs on her face and them like big moles that old people get. I'm waiting for mine. I think they're on order. They're on the way from Amazon. They have hairs growing out of them. There were one as well where what did they do? Oh, it drank a bowl of sick, weren't it?
Yeah, did someone get in a bath of cow piss or something?
Yeah, someone got in a bath of cow piss, and somebody also drank some sick that somebody had been sicked.
They can air that shit on TV. I thought the freaking like soccer
noticed.
moms and shit. Like I thought people would be, you know, calling for the censorship laws, saying, no, this is too much for television. We cannot allow this to, you know, be aired. We have to take it off.
Oh, we used to kill people on TV. There were that kid that there were a program called Late Breakfast Show. It were a 5 o'clock tea time. It were an institution. Everyone used to watch it at tea time, you know, back in the day when there were only 4 or 5 channels. I think there were 4 back then. And they killed somebody doing one of the things. It just went off air. It were gone. You know,
Wow.
they'll do anything. Like someone said, don't tell him, Pike. Don't tell him, Pike. He said he agrees with you. He says TV's totally dead, and it is. It is completely dead. And Super Lead says, I slept with Pat Butcher. So Super Lead slept with Pat Butcher, and I've got to be honest with you. I've got to be honest with you, Taylor. You might have a chance with her.
Girl looks got out of
I don't even know who that is.
sandals full of dog shit.
Sandals full of dog shit.
Girl licks
Oh.
sweat out of fat man's belly.
Oh yeah, girl licks sweat out. These are all these things that people did to go on telly.
That kind of reminds me of the WWE. Jason, the one in the chat, he told me a story once about a guy who went to Vince McMahon, the head of the WWE, and basically he's like, I want to get on. I want to be like a big wrestler. I want to get on TV, and he basically he grabs the inside of his throat and he throws up in front of him. He's like, I'll do something original to get me on TV, and he makes himself throw up in front of him. Just like he did that just so he could, you know, have a chance at, you know, being selected. Like, oh, I'm unique, I'm different. So yeah, it's like, I guess it's multiple. I guess this goes for pretty much any big television shows. Speaking of WWE, what's your thoughts on wrestling?
Well, I don't mind it as long as it's in front of gas fire. We are just in his underpants.
Oh man,
No, I don't. I don't get it. I'll tell you a true story. But back in the day, I when I was in my late teens actually, I worked in holiday camps and holiday parks, you know, resorts next at sea, holiday resorts, vacation resorts, right? Have I said all American things I need to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, vacation resort. I worked in one of them. In fact, I did it for Heath, actually.
Trailer parks.
Yeah, trailer park. But this is not, no, the different thing there, isn't it?
Trailer Park Boys?
No, well, anyway, so I went and Heath had rung me up because he was working there, and he'd rung me up and he said, I've got chicken pox and I can't work, and can you work for me? Can you do it for me to cover me? Otherwise, they're going to get rid of me. So I said, yeah, I'll come down. I've only got a few days left because I'm going to go and I was going to Dubai a few times, a couple of weeks later. So I said, yeah, I can come down. I can do a couple of weeks, but that's going to be about it. So anyway, I went down and they had this fucking wrestling thing on. Now, it were a wrestling ring, and I don't know how to explain it to an American bloke, but it were different here. Wrestling, it were more slapstick, and I know it is now. I mean, yours, but you'll have that. Oh, fucking hell, I'm going to be a cunt or whatever, and I'm going to kick some.
They have some fuck boys on now.
But back in them days, it were more your old age pensioners, in Blackpool, watching some blokes in leotard bottoms that really didn't fit very well. Jumping off of things onto each other and slapping each other and making it look bad, right? That's essentially what it was. So anyway, they had these touring things that went round these holiday camps, and when they came round to it, just so happened that when I was doing it for Heath, they got this holiday camp. On this holiday camp, they got this wrestling booked for this time. So they said, usually one of the people that works there is the referee. So they said, you'll have to be referee. Right? So I didn't know this. I didn't know we were going to be referee until I got there. And the thing is, I put my tracksuit bottoms on, but I got no underpants on. right?
Oh,
Now, they said to me, what we're going to do is, because it's all fucking set up and everything, we're going to be chucking each other and you do this and you do that and I'll shout at you and you do whatever. And he says, but at this one point, he says, I'll let you know when it's going to happen. But what I want you to do is I want you to stand in corner and he's going to grab hold of my feet and I'm going to be going, like that. And then as I fall down, I'm going to pull your trousers down. Well, I've got no kegs on. Right? So I'm thinking, you can't be doing that. I've got no underpants on. And I thought to myself, well, what do I do? What do I do?
what, are you ashamed to show your thing?
What do I do? So anyway, it got to it, and I thought I'll try and jump out at way or something when it happens. And he got to it anyway. He fucking got me. Pulled my kegs down. I got no one underneath. So there's my knob. And there's the whole of fucking Wales, or where, I think we were in somewhere in Wales where it were. All the fucking Wales looking at me fucking knob, and there's me trying to pull my fucking shorts up and look like it. And he said to me as well, try to look like you're embarrassed. Try. Fucking try to look like you're embarrassed. Jesus Christ.
Was it censored though?
Well, how can it be censored? It was live.
Oh, they didn't have. Oh, it was actually live. It wasn't this like 15-minute recorded 15 minutes beforehand and then aired and try to make it look live kind of thing, like with wrestling.
No. It was all live. It was all done live.
Wow. So, damn, you're well. There's a positive thing. At least your future wife would probably have seen your thing before you had a chance to get with her. So she'd be like, "Hey, I know exactly what I'm getting myself into."
Yeah, because my wife at that time would have been about 11.
Oh, damn, my bad.
Okay, I've been about 9.
It's 9 then. 9. She'd have been
Oh.
9. No, she didn't get a look at what we're on offer later on in life.
Man. Well, let's just hope that clip's not on YouTube or anything like that, because
no, I don't think it'd be on YouTube, mate. Don't worry about that. Well, fucking hope not.
yeah, hopefully not, because then I would be, hey, I remember you. You're the guy that I saw his freaking his fucking nuts on TV, live on TV.
Well, Jimmy Savile was one of the most famous wrestlers in this country.
He was a wrestler?
Yeah, we're a wrestler, yeah, Jimmy Savile, yeah. Apparently, according to Super Leeds. Yeah, Jimmy Savile were a wrestler. And a head doorman in Leeds. And as was Big Daddy. Big Daddy, oh, you'd have loved Big Daddy. Fucking great, man. What a top bloke he were. He were like a fucking brilliant. He were a great big fat cunt. His real name was Shirley. Honestly, no. I'm telling you.
I believe. By the way, about Jimmy Savile, apparently we have an American equivalent of Jimmy Savile, and I'm sure you know who that is.
Bill Cosby.
Well, maybe, but no. Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey. Oh yeah. Oh God, him. Fucking hell. You see how it's dropped out? Completely out of my fucking thing. Everything else going
Didn't
on.
that happen before last show? I'm pretty sure that happened before you went to the hospital.
It did, yeah. But it just shows you how it's just completely disappeared.
Oh yeah, it's gone away from the mainstream media attention. Like, it's like, okay, we have to cover it because it's such a big story. We have to cover it, but then we're gonna try to throw it away as soon as possible. It's like, so we can say, oh, we have covered it. We've covered it, but we're never gonna do it again. Just like with the BBC, with the whole, oh, then the 9/11 hijackers are still alive. We'll say it once. We're never going to bring it up again. And if we're asked about it, we're just going to say, I never said that. Kind of like with Rudy Giuliani, how he said on live on air, I think it was either September 11th or 12th, either 9/11 the day after, he's like, oh, we were told that the buildings were going to come down, so we need to evacuate the building. And then when he was running for president in 2008, some woman confronted him about that, and he's like, I never said that. Actually, no, he didn't even say I never said that. He just he said I never said that. And then when she tried to be like, hey, no, you did say that, and he looks at the camera, smiles, and laughs, like silently laughs. It's just like they think that they can get away with this shit.
Well, they have.
And it's just like, Yeah, exactly, and that's the worst part. The fact that they can get away with it, and like there are so many people that just don't care. It's like there are people that talk about Jeffrey Epstein. Also, another thing with the Epstein case, a lot of people get so hooked up on is he still alive or is he sitting in Israel right now? And in the end, it doesn't really matter which is the case. In the end, Jeffrey Epstein, his character, the point is his character is out of the story. His character is dead, whether he's actually alive or in Israel or whatever. In the end, his character is dead. He's disappeared from the public view, and he's going to get replaced by another bloke who's going to be just like that. So it's just an endless cycle. We got to find the fall man to take the public attention. Well, we have all these hundreds of other big corporate pedophiles who are sacrificing children to satanic rituals, or just and having sex with them, putting them in coffins and shit. And but it's ridiculous.
Mm.
Just like with like with Watergate, how what was it? E. Howard Hunt was the fall guy to take the to be the distraction, while everyone else was basically thrown away from the public eye. It's always the lone nut, It always has to be the one guy that everyone has to focus on. It can't be anyone else. Like, it can't be multiple people, just the one guy. Whether it's Lee Harvey Oswald, or whether it's Osama bin Laden, or E. Howard Hunt, or George Bush for 9/11. It's like there's so many with all these cases. It's more than just one person. It's like it's not just dozens, but hundreds of people, thousands of people that are behind it. It's ridiculous. And yet people always want to just focus on the one person just because they happen to get the media attention. It's like, fuck the mainstream media. Seriously, fuck the mainstream media. Why can't it? If people stop giving so much of a shit about it, if people stop watching it, it would go away.
Yeah, but people don't give a shit about it. That's why the ratings are fucking dire. But
I know that's
propped up.
But the government still wants to keep them alive.
Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. It's a propaganda arm. Why would you not? Someone's protecting you. You can carry on fucking kids, and you can carry on bombing countries, and you can carry on doing this, and you carry on doing that, because they're on your side. So you keep them on your fucking side. They'll do what they're fucking told, and you'll give them what they fucking want. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. You don't think a fucking
exactly
somebody who plays a fucking sport is worth about 1 million times fucking the worth of fucking somebody who saves people's lives in a hospital, even if it's a fucking somebody who just contributes a little part of something. They contribute more, but we've got everything fucking completely upside down, because what don't really matter, and we shouldn't really give a shit about, seems to matter, and what we should think about, and what we should be talking about, and what we should be worrying about. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, like the 9/11 whistleblowers, like I forgot his name, the one that was in Building 7, that said that he heard that there was explosions going on throughout the entire ordeal. Yeah, Barry Jennings. Yes, that's him, and so many others just like him. Nobody's going to talk about that.
Who died mysteriously as well, by the way.
Died mysteriously. Yeah, just like Dorothy Gibbons, I believe that's her name. The one after the JFK assassination. She was a popular star on television, and she was looking into the JFK assassination, and I think it was in either 65 or 67 or something like that. She turned up dead, but through mysterious circumstances. It's like, oh, it was suicide. It was suicide. That's always the excuse. Oh, it was suicide.
Well, look, it's even if you go right back and you see examples. Look at can't remember her. I remember her first name. Her first name was Valerie. I think it was Valerie McLaughlin or something like that. And she taken a photo, and this were the most iconic image, because it was supposed to be the plume of smoke that was coming up from when Flight 93 crashed. 93, yeah, that crashed in Shanksville.
Yeah, that was 93.
Yeah. So and so what you've got this barn. You've got her house, and you've got this barn, and then behind the barn there's like this smoke coming up, and this smoke coming up. This picture became an iconic picture, but you could tell absolutely it were fucking completely photoshopped. But it became like an iconic image, and she called it. If people want to look this up, and just to, I think of Valerie something or other, her name were, but she made a fortune out of this photograph that had supposedly been taken on the day of 9/11, and it was the picture of the smoke coming up. And she called the picture was called "End of Serenity." The end of Serenity.
Is it the picture of the one with like the smoke in the background, but there's like a house in front of it, like a farmhouse or something like that? With like,
It's like a barn thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like a bomb. Yeah, the one with the smoke that looks like a bomb blast because it has like the smoke going up into like a plume of smoke, rather than And speaking of 93, I also wanted to say a lot of people, I feel like people put too much focus on the Twin Towers and stuff, and not enough on like Flight 77 and 93 from the Pentagon and Shanksville stuff. Like, people just talk a lot about like the Twin Towers and all that, but they don't. I personally don't think they put enough attention on those because they're just as important. Sure, they didn't cause as much mass destruction, but and they weren't broadcast live on television, but I personally think they're still just as important. Because after all, Flight 93 is the one is what gave birth to that dumb story, to that ridiculous story of the guy who apparently led the pack in the plane to crash the plane into the ground to save their countrymen. And then of course Flight 77 was the one that, because if it wasn't for the Pentagon attack, they wouldn't have had an excuse to say America has been attacked, because I personally don't think it would have been enough to attack the Twin Towers. If it hadn't hit the Pentagon, they couldn't have made the excuse saying, "Oh, the heart of our country has been attacked," which I personally feel is the reason why the Pentagon thing happened in the first place, just to have insurance so that we have a good excuse to go to war. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit surrounding it. I mean, it's a much bigger fucking spider's web than most people are capable of putting together, But once you do, you realise that, there were so many anomalies and so many different. I mean, the hole in the Pentagon for a start was ridiculous.
It couldn't have been from a 757 plane. That much is a fact.
Yeah, and it was just so obvious. And then you've got Building 7, which I thought was the most obvious.
That's why they never cover it.
Well, they don't, but we do, and also there's always people there that are there to pop things in your way, to say that look at this is different, and then reveal. Look at this evidence, and then it goes all over the internet, and then they suddenly reveal that they've just made it up, and it was just, all done like that Building 7 video I was talking about earlier on.
Yeah,
and then you've got people like somebody I had some dealings with back in the day. What's his face? Fucking oh god. Last man out at Tower, what was his name? William Rodriguez.
Oh yes, he was on. What was that? What was that 9/11 movie called? The Loose Change.
Yeah, Loose Change. Yeah, he did some on Loose. He were on Loose Change. Yeah, he were on a lot of them. But for me, I mean, he was somebody that would put in there to distract away from things, and to try and draw attention to things that really weren't important, that weren't really going to solve the issue, but we're going to keep people occupied. That's my feelings on him. And I met him. He came to visit me one time when I just got out of. He came to visit me one time. So he did encourage me to lie about things and stuff, and I think that's about as much as I want to say about him. But there's all these people that have got that have got these interests, and then they appear to be okay, and they appear to have good intentions with what they're doing, and then you find out that things are different, and that's the
You
big.
mean like David Icke? You mean like David Icke?
David Icke, I really don't know about David Icke. I don't know. Yeah, we've had Gareth on this show. Gareth Icke, he seemed all right. I just don't know. It's weird. I'd like to meet him so that I could try and work him out from on a face-to-face sort of basis, because I usually pretty much can.
You're able to see right through a person if they're a lying SOB or if they're telling the truth.
Yeah, I'm usually a decent judge of somebody, which is probably why I've got so much self-loathing. No, but I can usually judge somebody. So I'd like to meet him face to face. I really don't know what to make of him.
What about Richie Allen?
Well, I don't know. I've not listened to him for fucking yonkers. I've not heard anything that he's done or said, so I really don't know. I've not. From what I heard before, yeah, all right. We're just wanting it. I think he was trying to become a mainstream not in the mainstream or semi-mainstream. I think that's what we're trying to do. I don't know what he's doing now. I ain't got a clue. So.
And then of course we have fucking sellout Alex Jones, which Alex Jones, I don't know how he still has fans to this day. Like, after what he did, I don't understand how anyone can still take him seriously. And don't get me wrong, he was good in the past. Like, if you ask me about Alex Jones, he was good in the past, because like, who goes, like, how can you be a liar and go out and like go out on bridges in public and start yelling stuff about 9/11 is a lie and stuff like that? That just doesn't seem like something that you could do if you were a fake. That's at least how I feel about it. But then after, of course, Donald Trump came in, I feel like Donald Trump and his cabinet basically, they basically paid him off, basically saying, you do this for us and we'll give you this publicity, we'll give you this money, we'll give you this. And Alex Jones hasn't he always said that he believes in himself to not be that bright of a guy. So I feel like that's probably is the case, that he got bought off by Donald Trump.
Do we really give a fuck though? If you watch his shit, no. But if you've got your radar on, like you clearly have, and I feel the same as you. I feel like that he did. I think he did start, and when he began with good intentions. I don't know, but the more and more that the bigger and bigger that he got, the more and more away from what he was supposed to be about he became. So you sort of drift away. And for me, I mean, if we can't take bullshit and see it for what it is, then we're not fucking deserving of anything. We're not deserving of knowing what bullshit is. So if you can tell, it don't matter. If you can't tell, more for you. You fucking soon you will learn, because you will. Because we all do. We all go through these phases. We all go through the ones where we see Alex Jones and we see this, then we see that guy, and we see that guy. We watch this guy and we watch that guy. We watch David Icke, we watch David Wynne Jones. David Wynne Miller. We watch all these different people. We all go through that. So the more and easier it is to be able to then go, well, that's just bollocks, and then just skip ahead of that. That's better for all of us, really, isn't it? So they do have a place, a part to play.
Yeah,
in being aware of what's fucking not real and what is real.
Yeah, like you said Israel. It sounded like you said Israel.
Yeah,
Get
well,
it, Israel.
I did say it, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
I
didn't
mean,
say it.
a good example is James Corbett. I know you don't like him, but I genuinely believe that he says some good stuff. I do believe that that there are times where I'm just like, this doesn't seem right. But at the same time, I do believe that that a lot of the stuff that he does says is true, especially since he actually puts evidence in his video. Like he puts like the show notes, he puts like the links of what he's talking about in the description of the videos and on his website. So I do believe that he's a genuine guy, even though I do agree that he's a bit arrogant, if that's the right word for it. I believe because I don't know if I've said it before, but he treats his YouTube crowd, or actually not just YouTube, but anything that isn't his actual website's crowd that don't give him money, because to comment on his page on his website, you have to pay him as a subscription, which isn't much money, but the fact that you have to pay him money just to be able to even talk on his website, just even comment on his website on a video, that just says something to me. And like he always he never seems to respect his YouTube crowd or his BitChute crowd or anything like that. He only ever seems to respect the crowd that gives him money. Like if you don't, like, basically to me, the way he is like, if you don't give him money, he don't give a damn about you.
And they've all turned into that, haven't they? Though they all inevitably turn into that. They're going to do that. I mean, if you're going to if you're going to ask somebody to pay for I would never ask somebody to pay for this content, because it's just me talking out of my arse, and it's therapy for me. And I feel that free to be able to not to just think, well, I'm not fucking doing it tonight. I don't want to. Once it comes into it, then you've got somebody. Then if there's something you become reliant upon, and you've got to go in a certain direction because that's what their agenda is, and they're the one paying the fucking beans. I don't know if that makes sense. Have you frozen again? By the way, very, very nice fire alarm. Are you there? Hello, Taylor. Oh, I think Taylor's gone, I think. Or I'm gone, or he's gone, or something's gone, but we're all gone. He's all right, we'll give you a spanner. Apple Charlotte. Oh, he seems to have gone. Oh no, we've lost him. Never mind. I think we're about to end anyway. I think we've done enough, haven't we, for tonight? What do you reckon? There you go, that's what I'm looking at. There we go. Oh no, that's YouTube. Fucking hell, what the fucking hell's this? What I've got on here? Well, it's been good to be back anyway, and good to see everybody here. Oh, it keeps coming. It keeps coming back. Are you there, Taylor? Oh, Apple Charlotte wants a spanner. Should I give Apple Charlotte a spanner? No, Jace, she's an infiltrator. Ooh. Some stuff going. Oh, here we go. There we go. Are you there? Are you back?
There we go. Fuck you, connection, man. Eat a dick.
Eat it, motherfucker.
Yeah, eat that, motherfucker. Yes, but yeah, sorry about that. Connection said, "Yo, your connection is not stable enough to enter this call," or some bullshit. I mean, my connection's not the best, but it's like, come on, we're in the year 2019 and we still haven't got rid of this, and the internet company still haven't got past this stupid connection nonsense. It's ridiculous. It's like we go two steps forward but 4 steps back. And in the end, we know whether they're doing it on purpose just to fuck with us.
Come on, can you talk a bit more jive? I said, same man.
Oh, by the way, sorry if I've been ranting a little bit today. It's just, I don't getting to me. If that makes any sense. It's. But I guess I've been spending too much time in the YouTube comment section in the last few days because a few days ago I was going on the YouTube comments on the new videos because, like, every year they always upload new videos. CNN and them always upload new videos saying this is what happened on September 11th because we totally didn't post the same exact thing 1 year ago. And I see people in the comment section talking about they know the official story is nonsense, but then you get the people who are like, no, the conspiracy theory loonies need to get a life. They don't know what they're talking about. And then I try to present the evidence in the comment section, and I know that I know I'm probably shouldn't be doing this, but I try to give people a chance. I try to, even in the comment sections on YouTube and social media, I try to give people a chance to look at the information and judge for themselves. And I try to be polite about it. I don't go at their throats and try to attack them. I try to be as polite as I can and try to explain to them, hey, this is, have you thought about, or have you heard about this? If people say, oh, there hasn't been any whistleblowers on 9/11, it's like there's been plenty. And there's been evidence against the official story. You just have to actually, give enough of a damn to look. And if people don't want to, don't want to look, there's nothing I can do. But I just feel like I'm not doing enough if I don't at least try,
Well, you might as well, aren't you? There's nothing else to do, is there?
But I mean, I guess I'm not really good at it. I can't even convince my own freaking parents I can't even convince my own family of the stuff I'm talking about. So that's not exactly good. What?
Don't bother. If you can't convince people, you don't bother, do you? You move on to who you can convince.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's just it also gets frustrating also because online you don't know if anyone's actually saying the truth because they could be lying behind the keyboard, like saying, oh, I totally trust you, but then in actuality they're just laughing at you just to just to end the conversation. It's like it's hard to tell.
No, don't take it to heart, mate. Honestly, it's a fucking. What can you do? Yeah. Blazing Star says you can lead a horse to water, but a pencil has to be lead.
Wait, pencil has to be lead? I don't.
No,
I haven't heard that.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. In other words, you can present as much as you want to anybody, but you can't make them take it in. You can't make them believe it. You can't snap them away from if they've got in-depth, preconceived ideas about things. Then that's a huge lot of barriers to get over before you even fucking get to even try to imagine what it would be like if things weren't quite the way they thought they were.
Yep, it's like but the thing is, once you take that first step and you do start doubting things, that's I personally feel like is the hardest step, is that very first step. Opening your mind a little bit is the hardest step, because from there it's just finding the information and learning it, and then deciding from there if you actually care and actually believe it or not. And honestly, if you're presented the information, you actually give enough of a damn to be like, hey, this seems interesting. Then usually, if you actually do your research and go down the rabbit hole, you'll understand this is actually real. like for 7/7, for example, we all know once you learn the official story is nonsense, it's all uphill from there, or downhill, whatever you whichever is the right term for it. And about Donald Trump, there are still people that think that he's draining the swamp, that he's here to save us, that he's on our side, even though he hasn't done a damn thing to further the cause. Like, for Trump, I'll say this about Trump: if he ever, stop, the moment I'll actually take him seriously, for me to take him seriously, he needs to stop freaking sucking Israel's dick. Seriously.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, we knew that anyway, didn't we?
Yeah, and that's another thing about this like selection cycle of presidents. This is why I've never voted and why I never will vote. In the end, it's just a selection cycle. You have a new guy going in who makes him who insults the previous president, saying, "Oh, this guy, he did things terribly. I'm going to do things so much better." And then he gets in, and then what happens? Either nothing changes or he makes things worse. Like with Obama. He was talking about how he's going to end, he was going to, he was a peacemaker. He even won a Nobel Peace Prize for his speeches, saying that he's going to, end the war in Afghanistan. He's going to stop the war on terror and all that. And he gets in, and what happens? Just makes it worse. So in the end, it's ridiculous. And it's the same thing with Donald Trump. He gets in as the war in Afghanistan ended. No. Has this war on terror nonsense ended? No. As it's ridiculous. Has he come clean about the Rothschilds or Israel? No. Instead, he's sitting there sucking their dick. But when Bush Sr. died, he was saying so many good things about him, saying that he was a great man and that he was my idol and all that stuff, and saying so many good things. But in actuality, and I'm sure that he knows this, that Bush Sr. was one of the most evil people that's ever lived. It's like I don't understand why people bother voting when it's the same cycle. You vote, and by voting, you're basically telling them you have the right to tell me what to do. Basically, that's why I don't like protesting either, because by protesting, you're innately saying to the people you're protesting against that they have the power to tell you what you can and cannot do. When in fact, they don't have that power. The government, they don't have any power. They only have the power that we imagine that they have. If we get over that whole thing about the government having power, and we just, we stop paying taxes, we stop voting, we stop supporting their public school system, we stop doing all this shit that keeps them afloat, then we don't even need to have a public revolution. We don't need to march on Washington or anything. That's all we need to do is just stop supporting them, and they'll go away. It's like a bully in elementary school that bullies you for your lunch money. You stop giving them incentive to keep going, they'll go away.
Well, interesting stuff as usual. Thank you, Taylor, for jumping in.
Sorry if I went on and on.
That's all right, mate. It's no problem at all. It is no problem at all. It's been great. Listen, I think I'm going to wrap up there because I am fucking knackered, to be honest. And I really need to go and have a lay down for a bit. But thank you very much to everybody who's been listening to us tonight. Jason is in there. Apple, Super Leads, James Owen, Sane Man, Wendy's new away top beat that Rolf Harris, he says. Same man, thank you. Listen, thanks to everybody for listening tonight. Thanks to you, thanks to Owen as well for coming on earlier on and giving us a little bit of insight into what is going on over there in Portugal and how he's dealing with things. So thanks to him. And you as well, Taylor. Still a virgin, but never mind. We'll sort that out at some point. Patrick has just put such a breath of fresh air hearing Uni talk. So much sense from a young man. Yeah, so I think we all agree with that, mate, as well. So listen, thanks to everybody for listening. I know I've been away a long time. I'll be back as soon as I can. And I will be probably back sometime next week to do a show. And we might even try and hook up with AD or something like that. But I'll get something in. But bear in mind, I'm still fucking hooked up to shit and stuff. And I'm in a lot of pain, but I've not been in a lot of pain tonight while we've been doing this. So that's probably a bit of therapy for me. So thanks to everybody. I'll see you again soon. And I'm sure you'll see Taylor again soon. Cheers, Taylor, mate. Yeah. See you later.
Yeah, sorry for rambling on and on, guys. I'm sure you're probably sick of listening to me rambling.
Take it easy. Bye.